Oh,
We all
man,
ready?
sing a song before.
You ready, Matt?
I'm fine.
This is your show. We believe
I
in
know
you.
it is.
Yeah, this
I
is
know it is,
you.
but you guys make me feel nervous every time because you
Do
guys are like,
you
ready,
believe
Matt?
in that afterlife? I believe in that afterlife. All right, we're live now. Come on, Matt, we're live. This is your show.
I'm sorry, that was making me laugh, you asshole.
It felt right.
Did it now. Well, welcome to Batyard Production. Well, Batyard Production. Welcome to Batyard's Finest. What's up with this face?
No, keep going.
Okay, but your face is a...
I was trying to drink. I was hoping you would finish.
Okay. Well, welcome to Batyard's Finest. We're bringing you the finest of the Batman and Superman news and other pop culture. And I am Matt from Gotham. What's up, guys? And these guys are...
I'm Jerry from OA, and this guy.
I'm Josh from Metropolis. How y'all doing?
We managed to point in the same direction. We didn't fuck it up.
No,
Yeah,
I
I didn't
practiced
point
a
at
little
all.
bit beforehand.
I stopped pointing altogether.
I'm gonna fuck up my pointing. It's gonna be fun. But we're gonna right now we're in spooky season, guys. We're starting it off. It's October 6th, right, guys? No, 7th. I'm living in the past.
It's 7th.
Why? But whatever.
Yeah.
We're starting out the spooky season with this podcast. We're gonna finish up the Superman Smashes the Klan and the radio show comparison. And then we're going to go right into afterwards the Fairy Tale episode 222, Transform. Then at that, as our finisher is the Pumpkinhead from 1988, Pumpkinhead. So, anyone got any BS?
I actually have a lot of BS for
Do
once.
you?
All right. Yeah, take it away. I don't think I have any.
BS.
So, with it being spooky season, what better way to celebrate spooky season in America than with the serial killer? Because Americans love serial killers. I don't. I've recently learned on the dark web you can buy an attack gorilla for $400,000. FBI, please don't come knocking at my door. But
Wait, like an
the news
Just let the
like
man talk. He does his research on animals all the time. He has a plan for a fucking whale.
Like, you could hire a real gorilla. That's amazing.
So recently, a group of private investigators have actually discovered the identity of the Zodiac killer.
Oh,
wait,
I've
is
been
this
hearing
real?
about this.
Yeah,
It's been flown
it's
around.
real.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't heard this. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to write down the guy's name because I got the notification at like 2 a.m. And I was like, the only things I get in the morning are like anime, comics, or like random important news. And it said like Zodiac killer's identity revealed. And I'm like, oh, cool. They're going to prosecute him. Haha, joke's on the world. He died in 2018.
He died in
Who's the
2018.
guy? Is it like I heard he was like a medical.
I think it was some dude in California. I'd have to go back through my Google feed to find it again.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of like, I hear it's like some people from like that actually enjoy the movie are kind of upset that it's not the guy actually that they were kind of accusing throughout the movie.
Ted Cruz.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah.
It was with Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr.
Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr. and what's his name?
There's another
Donnie, the guy from that Donnie movie. Donnie Darko.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. How's he's so famous now, and we can never remember his freaking name.
So Mysterio the Hulk, and Iron Man.
True.
That's crazy.
Yeah, people were kind of mad that guy that they were trying to pinpoint in that movie wasn't actually the actual
Is
guy.
Is it not him?
Coming out later.
So it's not who they suspected in that film?
Yeah, they were. It wasn't him. A lot of people were like,
I
"Why?"
thought it was
Like,
Ted Cruz personally, because Ted Cruz and the Zodiac Killer have never been in the same room at the same time.
that we know of.
the fuck you trying to say? This is like a trying to say this is like a superhero thing. It's like you never seen Spider-Man, or you never seen Batman, or Superman, or
I heard. I listened to some. I think it was like some murder podcast. It was like Unsolved Murders or something.
Okay.
Where they pointed. They kind of like referred that it was someone who had a medical science background or something like that. So I forget. But is it him? Is it that guy?
When I find it, I'm gonna post the link and everything on our Instagram page.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just hearing about this, so I don't know.
Yeah, I heard. I haven't. It was this morning when I heard about it too.
The next bit of BS. I actually went to go see the new Carnage movie, and I didn't hate it. It was Venom, Carnage. They're the same people, different colors. It was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to do, considering how short it was, because it was only, I think it was like roughly an hour and 40 minutes, maybe a little under.
Okay.
And, we all know, Carnage, he's bloodthirsty and he's ripping people to shreds. It was a good movie. I did personally enjoy it a lot. Woody Harrelson did a phenomenal job as Woody Harrelson's person he played. I forget. It's been
Carnage.
a long day. Carnage. There we go. And I'm not going to spoil too much, but I like how they did things, because even though it was shorter, everything progressed a lot faster. Okay. And they also set it up for other symbiotes to be introduced later on.
I don't know any other symbiotes besides like anti-Venom. That's like the only one I know. And I don't know anything.
Yeah, there's a lot
Carnage,
more.
Scream, Toxin,
Hybrid.
Yep.
There's as many symbiotes as there is Hulk.
It's infinite. Like, it's just like infinity. It just keeps going. As long as the symbiote lives.
I thought there's two Hulks.
Wait, what?
I thought there's two Hulks. There's more than two.
There's a lot of Hulks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you this. Since you like this movie, did you like the first one? Did you see that one?
I did see the first one, and I absolutely fucking hated it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I said that after I walked out of the theater. I said, this was dog shit. Like, they already fucked it up, because most of the symbiotes are a product of Venom when he splits, from Eddie Brock and everything, and, Tom Hardy. So that's, how we get introduced to Anti-Venom, Carnage, Shriek, Riot, Toxin. Hybrid is a mix of like 3 different symbiotes. So it's just like you starting off with Riot, who is, one of the more powerful offspring of Venom, and he's the leader of the symbiotes, which is just
what the fuck?
It's just kind of what the fuck. But this was a nice build up to things, especially because it was Woody Harrelson's Carnage. It was, from start to finish, it was really good. There was another actress I was surprised that they brought in. I didn't see her in any of the trailers, but she set it up for somebody else to make way as a symbiote. So if I had to compare the two, I would much rather recommend Venom Let There Be Carnage than the first Venom.
Did you see it, Matt?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been waiting for it to I've been waiting for a week to get by, so like all the people going in and out of theaters was like slow down and all that crap, and I can hear more news about it. But everybody I'm talking to, it gives me like 50-50 news, and like, or just say it's okay, and I'm like, it's okay doesn't help me, but okay, thank you. But I keep hearing that what is it, end credit scene supposedly something you don't want to miss.
Yeah, the end credit scene was absolutely like bonkers. I did not expect that at all. I'm not gonna say what it is, but if you've seen it, you know what it is, and you know what's about to happen. And I
Okay.
think it's a good time to do it.
So all right, I don't really care about spoilers because I'm not gonna see this movie. I'm not gonna see the first one either. So I'm gonna guess. This is just tell me if I'm right, okay? So the end credit scene, it's Spider-Man's Tom Holland. He's on like a newsreel, and then Venom's like, "Oh, that's a guy," and then the credits roll, and then that's the end of the movie. Is that what happens?
I cannot confirm or deny.
Does he say that's a guy? Does he say that? And when he sees Spider-Man, he says that's a guy. I'm pretty sure.
Oh god.
That's verbatim the line. All right. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil anything. This is just my guess, my hypothetical guess. But after Matt
And
watches
you
it,
hit
he's
the
going to
nail on the-
confirm if I'm right. What?
Oh, god. I will confirm if you're fucking right. Yeah, I will. But what's it called? Speaking of some BS, I finally finished what's it called? Squid Game. That's on
Squidward?
Netflix. Squidward. No, Squid Game. And it's this new Korean like game, like survival game system, like series that came out, and Netflix. It's a Netflix exclusive. It's like, so basically, if you're in, it's a fiction. It's like it's like a fictional world where you're just basically there, and like you have debt, and the guys come around trying to collect you, and you're basically trying to figure out like if you were willing to join this game, and it's basically elimination style once you join the game series. And if you fail in the test, they kill you and they move on. But behind the series, like scenes, they take your body. If you're worthy enough with a great background, they chop you up and sell your body parts for black market pricing. But if you keep continuing onwards, there's a giant money pig up in the sky above your sleeping area that keep wherever like they add money to it for how many people drop off. So if your body they had like their amount is like the total they're gonna give everybody is like $1 million. So technically everyone's like life is about $50,000. So when you die, they add another $50,000 to it. So everyone has a weird price to them. It's a weird series. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a good watch to like watch, but like everyone's
it
making
live
it like
action?
super hype. It's
Is it
live action, yeah.
or is it anime? Okay.
Yeah, it's a live action. So like, as everyone's giving it this super hype that has right now, in my head, I gave it like a 7. I wasn't like 100% super invested into it. I figured out the end of the movie pretty quickly, and it didn't help because Jimmy was helping me out with like saying some stupid shit. But my theory before Jimmy started telling me about things was actually correct at the end. And it's just like, what the like? This is some dumb shit that's happening. But I'm not. If
I
you
haven't
guys are
even
gonna
heard
watch,
of
I'm
this
not giving
show.
it spoilers.
I
I
haven't
haven't
watched
even
it
heard
yet.
of
I'll
it.
probably watch it this weekend.
it's a good watch. It's just like to me, it's like has some here and there issues. I don't think it deserves the 100% hype it's getting. But I heard if you watch the sub, you're not gonna get the right translations because for some reason the translating program they were running through or the person they were going through fucked it all up. So you're better off just watching the dub properly because it originally was in Korean. It's like I think it's a South Korean production.
North Korea doesn't have access to the internet.
No, but there is a North Korean character in that show, and everyone starts hating on her. Yeah. It's like fucked up.
I guess
It's
I
weird.
guess I'll have to watch
Everybody,
it. I have no idea what
everybody
you're talking
turns.
about.
I don't know. It's everybody turns on everybody else. It's like you can make a group, but once it gets closer to the deadline of like getting to like the end game of it, everybody just keeps like trading betraying back and forth. But the beginning, the first episode is kind of fucking slow, so you need to push yourself through the first episode to get into the second episode. That makes
How
it
many
work. Like
episodes
that
are
actually gets
there?
good.
Is this
I think it's like 9 or
Nine?
8.
There's 9.
Are they
9
making
episodes.
more, or is this one season kind of deal?
It ends with a cliffhanger, but they could have ended it with a flat like "fuck you," like we're done with the series. Like it should have ended properly, but it said they decided to make it like we're gonna keep going with this. And I'm like, you don't need to keep going. You gave us something decent, give us something good. I'm okay with it. You
Yeah,
guys gonna
it
fuck
takes
up.
me a lot to get invested with TV shows because I never know how it's going to end, and it's such like an investment that like I hate starting to watch a show and then it ends up being shit, and I'm like, why did I fucking waste all my time
No,
watching this crap?
It's good on. Yeah, it's good to watch. It's a good watch and everything. It's proper, but the ending is just like what the fuck? You should watch it for everything else that happens. Fuck the ending. That basically happens like the last 5 minutes. Fuck that shit.
T-Pill asked if we're talking about the Squid Game.
Squidward.
We are not talking
Yes, we
about
are.
Squidward.
No, we can talk about Squidward.
I'm Squidward. I'm Squidward.
I'm Squidward. I'm Squidward.
Oh, I had one more bit of BS.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure.
Part 2 of Where the House Husband just came out on Netflix. I just got the notification for it.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. I can't fucking wait. I'm gonna watch that tomorrow at work because they're slow as shit right now.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
We can finish it within like the day of work.
Yeah, they're pretty short. They're only like what 5-6 minutes each episode.
Something like that. Let me check.
It's about like at least I don't know. Maybe they extended it for second season. Can't tell you.
The only thing I wanted to bring up with BSBS is the new Sopranos prequel movie came out, The Saints of Newark.
Is it on
which
HBO?
takes place. It's on HBO Max, and I guess it's in theaters
Max
as well. I just watched through The Sopranos. Actually, like I just finished over the summer, so I definitely am going to watch that, and I'll get back to you on my thoughts of that movie by next episode. I haven't seen it yet.
You said it was a prequel movie?
Yeah, it's a prequel. So it takes place at Tony Soprano when he's like in a high school, and it showcases basically the mob family of like his cousin and his father and his uncle. Like they're running the show, and it kind of shows the roots of how he got corrupted and basically became mob boss of that family. So it's just like kind of, I don't know. I guess it shows the origin of it all, which it's kind of interesting. They got what is his name? Oh man, I'm blanking on it. The guy who plays the main Goodfellas and Goodfellas.
Oh,
and Goodfellas.
Ray Liotta. I've in a long time.
Ray Liotta. They have Ray Liotta as
Ray fucking Liotta.
Really?
As Tony Soprano's cousin in this show, and he's supposed to be basically his mentor, and he's the one who kind of corrupts him. So it's going to be interesting how.
So how much older is the cousin to him? If he's like the mentor,
he's like kind of like maybe 10 years older, at least. Like he's like in his 20s, while Tony's fresh in high school, maybe 15, 17. I haven't seen yet, but Tony Soprano is played by James Gandolfini's son, who James Gandolfini passed away in 2007. So it's going to be interesting that it's going to be a passing of the torch kind of film, like where son is going to be playing his father's most famous character. So it'll be interesting to see that. That's like another kind of added bonus. So I'll let you know how I feel about it in my next episode.
All right,
Yeah, let
sounds
me
good.
know how that is.
Have you
Okay,
watched The
so-
Sopranos at all, Jerry?
It's been a long time since I watched The Sopranos.
I've never
highly
really
recommend it.
watched it.
I would watch
Oh,
it again.
God.
I want to watch it again. And I just finished it. I want to watch it.
You're gonna watch it before that. You're gonna watch it again, and then watch the movie. Or you're gonna watch the movie, then watch it again.
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna watch the movie because I just finished the series. I'll probably take a break and then watch the show again because there's a lot to take in, and they put in like seeds from the beginning of the episodes that you almost forget about towards like the 6th season. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that. So it's gonna be nice to view it again with that set of eyes as well. So that's all I want to say.
That kind of stuff. Get it?
Yeah.
I got it now.
Yeah, it's good. It
So they
definitely
set
has
you up-
a lot of rewatchability for sure.
Okay, so they set up a lot of future stuff prior of actually getting to that future moment of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Cool. Okay,
All
We
right.
so
might be doing a Sopranos themed episode in the future.
Yeah,
we
we
are-
probably will.
it's been in the works. It's been in the works. Don't let
Yeah.
them fool you.
Mhm.
Okay, does anyone else have any more PSBS?
No.
No? Okay,
No.
so let's jump into everything. So we're gonna start off with the finishing up the Superman Smashes the Klan and the radio show comparison. What is T-Pillow saying?
She
yeah.
says learn how to curse because of Sopranos. Yes. Came out like 1999 and ended in 2007. So that's our prime growing up years. All right, go ahead, Matt.
All right, so like I was saying before, we're going to jump into Superman Smashes the Klan and the radio show comparison. So Josh is going to take it. Josh is going to take it away. So we're going to fuck this up
I'm
with the hand
taking it.
pointing.
Okay, I don't know where to start out with. I guess I'll start out with the radio show. So the
Okay.
radio show where we left off, it was Jimmy Olsen and Perry White are captured by Matt Riggs, which is Chuck Riggs' uncle, who's the Grand Scorpion of the Clan of the Fiery Cross, and he's basically threatening them to say, don't put anything else out in the Daily Planet newspaper about anything bad about us, or we'll tar and feather you. They end up escaping. Then fast forward to they know Matt Riggs' identity, so that's revealed to Superman and Clark Kent. And so basically, Matt Riggs is in hiding. He goes to the grander Scorpion. I don't even know who's above him, but he goes to
Grand
him.
Marshal.
Yeah, the Grand Marshal, and he goes to him. He's like, "Oh, I need your help. The Klan is in trouble, dire need in the city of Metropolis, and without your help, we're gonna be, we're gonna be flushed down the tubes." And basically, the Grand Marshal says, "What are you talking about? You're ruining the whole plan. This whole plan of hate mongering, all that is just to make money, and you're just fucking it up." So like he pulls out a gun. He's like, "Oh, we would have made thousands, millions on these new Klans members. You stupid fuck." And then he pulls out a gun. He's about to shoot him, and then Matt Riggs ends up choking him and killing him. And it's actually like it's kind of cool how gruesome they could get in radio shows because it's all mind's eye. It's not like there's like really a rating system. It is meant for kids, but they do murder people in the show, which I think is highly fascinating. Like what they could get away with because it's not like shown on TV. It's literally through a voice on a radio box. So,
it could
like,
be
they
hinted
just
either
kinda-
way. It could be
He's
hinted
dead.
either way.
He's-
Oh yeah, to us he's dead. The other guy, the kids could be like, "Oh, he knocked him out."
He's sleeping. Yeah, so then Matt Riggs is trying to get to the other Klans members who are left, and he's like, "Oh, I need your help," and they all close the door on him. Like, the cops know where we are. You're an idiot. Leave us alone. So he finally ends up finding one guy who will help him. I forget his name. He's like some weasel guy. Ends up trying to find Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, and Chuck Riggs, which is his nephew, who revealed information about the Klan to Clark Kent which reported it through the Metropolis Daily Planet newspaper. So that's why there's a lot of information out there with that. So he decides to take this this rifle to the baseball game where they're going to have their final baseball match against, I forget what unknown team. Anyway, it's a big playoff game. Yeah, team loser. So it's a big playoff game. Chuck Riggs is ending up he's pitching because Tommy Lee broke his arm, and basically Matt Riggs is trying to snipe off his nephew and Jimmy Olsen and Perry White all at once, and he's basically he tries to do it. He tries to shoot them all, but Superman, just in the nick of time, sees the flashing of the sniper
Scope?
Yeah, of the scope. From I guess he's like a mile away. He's on a roof. So Superman saves the day just in time, and then they all receive golden baseballs, and they receive one and give it to Tommy Lee at the end of the episode. So this was just basically the wrap up of the series, but I find it very interesting that they basically say that the Klan is just made of hatred, just basically made to make money, because the most lucrative form of income is hatred, or just something to get a lot of big group of people behind. So it's like it's neat to see like even facets of the Klan itself, and is like basically stupid, and they have nothing to, they have no underbelly. It's just all, they're just holes throughout their whole logic, and it's shown really seamlessly with the whole the ending climax of this series. So what do you guys think of the radio show, the final 3 episodes?
I actually enjoyed
Oh, you go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. No, you go.
This is your show. Go ahead.
God damn it. Don't you put that on me. Don't you put that on me. No, I was listening. I was like, I really enjoyed this part of it, because actually it was pretty nice seeing like the part when the Grand Master Pumbaa, whatever the fuck he is, guy, it's just like it's just literally ruining his fucking day with like all this this is what we were meant to do. This is not like, we're just meant to just make more income for us, and best off like basically hatred, like you're saying, and everything, like. And Matt just gets more fucking pissed about everything. But like it just shows like how freaking like how people can get superly invested and absorbed into something that it makes them go crazy and not see any other sides. Like it's like Matt's about to kill his own like nephew. That's like, what the fuck moment. Like he should have pulled back when he said, I'm gonna kill I'm killing my nephew, my only fucking nephew. I should turn this around and not do this anymore. I should just fuck it. I just said leave it alone. Just get taken in and just give it up on this point, because everyone else betrayed me, and I'm just nothing. That's all I got. Like this episode should like, if Matt was thinking clearly, should have went in a way, but no, he just went
thinking clearly. He would have been a part of the Klan, so I think he was.
No. I know. Well, at least, like, I mean, like yes. Well, I mean, like more like to start this thing clearly. Start this thing clearly at the end. It would have been like such a different, more different outcome. Yeah, different, like a whole different turnaround. But I think it was a pretty good ending with the whole setup with it, and them actually getting rewarded like for everything after all the bullshit that's been happening with the kids, getting something out of the end of it. But I still want to know who fucking won the baseball game.
It's obvious the Unity House won. They won.
Yeah, you stupid.
I thought it was oh my god. I thought it was like, for some reason in my head was processing. For some reason I was processing it as like they got awarded for that because of like helping like stop the Klan. It wasn't because of the game.
I guess you could kind of.
That's like one way.
Yeah, but no, they definitely won.
All right,
but they're so oblivious to even being sniped at by Matt Riggs. They didn't even know, because Superman is the one who sees the scope, and they're just like busy focusing on the baseball game. That's like the biggest thing that that's on the top of their minds. And Clark the whole time is like all this trouble. He's like, I don't know. We should have waited for this baseball game until Matt Riggs was caught, and they're like, nah, he's not coming. You're a silly guy. And, and then he ends up showing up. So he was right to be suspicious for sure.
Oh yeah.
I will agree, with both Josh and Crispy. This was a good way to end it, because to me the most powerful takeaway was when the head pointy sheet said on the radio show, at least, he was like, "You really believe all this BS?" And he straight up told him, he's like, the only people who are 100% pure and like made for this land are the native Indians. We came here, stole their land, and basically said, "Screw you guys, this is ours." And it even goes a step further. Like, Chuck Riggs is just, like Matt said, just so enthralled with this idea of hate.
Yeah.
He's willing to kill somebody higher in the hate chain, I guess you could say, than he is. And it's like, you fucking piece of scum. That's not what we're about. We're going to kill all the people who aren't us, people who don't worship the same as us. And it was just like, it's like people say, yeah, there's crazy people out there who do crazy stuff, but it's like we're seeing the exact, like, what the exact meaning of it is, with how a man was willing to kill someone that I'm not going to say shared, but sold him the same ideology, and went to assassinate his own flesh and blood nephew. Like, that takes a lot to do,
Yeah, he's a complete fanatic, and I love how that, like, the more he revolves into like this downfall, like the less and less followers he still retains under his command. He only has like one squealer basically at the end of the whole foundation, and it just shows like how flawed this whole society is. There's nothing once you take it apart, like thread by thread, there's nothing holding it together. It's just literally a bunch of threads lying on each other. There's no knots.
See, what Matt Riggs should have did was make a blueberry whirligig. That would have got his mind right.
Yes. Oh, man. Yes. Every time they talk, okay, I just wanted to talk about that. Every time they talk, all right, so what Jerry's referring to is the Pep commercials throughout the whole series. They're sponsored by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal, PEP, Pep. So every time they
don't
talk,
forget we're shipping
like,
overseas.
Boys and girls, if you add blueberries, you could make a blueberry whirligig. I'm Dan McCullough. Don't waste your pep. It's just like I just every time they talk about it, actually like sounds like the best fucking cereal of all time.
I want to find this cereal. I really want.
It's gone. They discontinued it in like the 70s, so it's gone.
I don't care. I want a box.
I asked my parents. I'm like, "Have you ever had Pep?" They're like, "No, what the fuck are you talking about?" And then I asked my aunt and uncle. They're from like the 50s era. It's the generation. So I'm like, okay, they're older. You know Pep? Oh, what the fuck? No. So I don't know anyone who even heard of Pep.
So Pep was just all-brand cornflakes.
It must have. I don't know. Like I was kind of reading about it, and they're saying that the taste of American youth has changed. So like they stopped selling. So they just discontinued it.
When?
So it just means
though?
it sucks. I don't know if it sucks or just the youth of America is fucking brainwashed by drugs and hippy dippy shit in the 60s.
The thing is, like this radio show came out in the 1946, right? So
yeah, I think 46 or 47 when this one appeared. But the first one came out like 41
continuing
or 42.
into the 50s. Like
no. Well, I mean, the show ended. I think like late 40s, but the cereal continued. It wasn't
No, I mean
like
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. The cereal. That's what I mean. Like, didn't the cereal continue? Nobody
Mhm.
knows what Pep is.
No one knows
Is
Pep.
it?
So if you could ask your grandparents, like, hey, have you ever had Pep cereal? I'd be very curious because I really want to know what it tastes like. And if you do have a box, even if it's 50 years old, please mail it to us. Send it to us. Send us a message on
If
Instagram,
you
and
can
we'll eat
find
it.
an original Kellogg's Pep box, we will bring
Yes.
you in as a special guest.
Yes, you will bring
Yes.
you in as a special guest for sure. And if you do mail it to us, we will all eat a 50-year-old cereal on camera. So at least I will.
Just have 911 on
So
the
is
side.
this gonna be the 50 boiled
Oh.
egg challenge from Cool Hand Luke?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
No,
that's gonna happen.
that's still in the works. That's gonna happen.
That's still gonna happen. Don't worry. Then we'll
As
have
much
that,
as I
and
don't
then
like
the
eggs,
50
it's
the
happening.
50-year-old cereal challenge, brought to you by Kellogg's.
I get to sit on the sideline.
We just need one more 50 and we'll be good to go for the three of us.
Oh
Well,
God.
there's a blueberry whirligig, and then there's the peach rocket. I don't know what it was. The peach rocket.
Yeah, it was
something.
the peach
God.
rocket, whatever. You get some slices of peaches and put it on the bottom, and then you put your.
I don't know.
I do like how it's like the generation basically right after the Great Depression and the war. They're basically like, don't waste your food, kids. Make sure your
Mhm.
younger brothers and sisters aren't wasting their food. And no one says that now. Everyone's just like, yeah, fuck it, just throw it in the garbage.
Put it down the garbage disposal, Timmy.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, yeah, the whole wheat is sent over to fellas and girls across the seas. So make sure you don't waste your pep. And we don't get anything like that now. They're just like, yeah, just
No,
like
we don't get jack.
shove it in a porpoise's fucking blowhole. We don't care. That's how commercials are now.
The thing is, like, in my head, I'm thinking it's more like, I don't know. It's more like like Rice Krispies. Like, that's what I'm thinking of. Little pellets, and they
It's
have no
probably
real
cornflakes.
flavors.
Yeah, that's
Or
what I was
that too,
imagining. Like, I
like-
think it's more cornflakes.
Like, it's just you have to
Because
add more
if
flavor to it. That's why he's adding the fruits to this thing, so you give it more flavor. He's selling you with these additional
Well,
ingredients.
they didn't put sugar on cereal until Kellogg's Frosted Flakes because it was an anti-masturbation tool.
Wait, really? Is that
Yeah,
Is that
look
true?
it up. Yeah, it was either Look, it's real shit. Hold on.
So I'm
This shit
reading
got
about
real.
Pep. It was introduced in 1923 and became the first to fortify vitamins B and D. So it's like the first cereal to actually have something like decent in it.
Nutritious in there.
Yeah, something your
Got
body
it.
actually can use.
That's why kids
Um,
didn't fucking eat it.
Yeah. It also says there in the prize packages in 1945 they had the 5 cereal comic characters, the 18 different buttons for each set. I have one of them. I have the Superman button. But that's really all it says right now. I'm on the Wikipedia page. But what? So how is this an anti-masturbation?
No, he says
Having sugar.
Kellogg's cornflakes. The gross cereal that doesn't have any sugar. It's just cooked wheat. It was used by, what is the dude's name? Where is it? J.H.
only one guy
Kellogg.
used this.
Yeah, because it was like I watched the documentary on it because I love cereal, and I was just like, why the fuck would you use cereal to stop people from masturbating? What kind of sick pervert are you to tell somebody they can't get themselves off?
How does that even work?
That man right there.
I don't know. I think that was also during the era when they were selling heroin as cough syrup.
When was this? What year was this?
Coca-Cola?
Was this the
It was
40s,
in
50s?
1887.
Oh my. Okay, so way earlier.
That
Okay.
makes more fucking sense.
Yeah, when people were
That makes more sense.
freaking animals couldn't feel pain. You know, that was that era, so that makes sense.
Oh
Oh,
God. Okay.
yeah. I'm trying to look at Kellogg's Pep images right now.
Oh Jesus.
But okay, so someone else
This is where
take
it
it away.
takes us.
Someone else take it away about the comic book. So I think
I'll
we
take it
talked
away
about
for the
radio.
comic book.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so the comic book, it still follows almost kind of the same formula. You know, Matt Riggs goes to, well, it's also some slight variations that really had me like, wow, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's still the Klan. They just blown up the Unity Community House. Superman is still dealing with his, you know, racial identity and coming to terms with it. And here we have Roberta, you know, she's like Superman. You know, Lois Lane and everybody else has just been kidnapped. She left a message. The dude's initials, WJ, look like my father's colleagues. And so he's slowly putting everything together. And like when Matt Riggs gets to the head Pointy Sheet's house, it's Dr. Wilson, who Dr. Lee works for. And he's like, he's still saying the same thing, like, you know, you're a fucking idiot. And here they have Adam Man in this giant tube vat container cylinder fucking shit. And he's like, you know, the Nazis found this green rock that they harnessed energy from called Der Gustin.
Yeah, it was.
However, I don't
yeah,
speak German.
It was a German name. Yeah.
And so then same thing happens. He pulls out this alien laser pointer, shoot and points at him, about to kill him. And here goes Matt Riggs again. He's just like, yeah, you're gonna fucking die, Dr. Wilson. And he's like, oh God, help me, no.
Yeah, there you go. It's insane.
But it you know, it even takes it another step further because Superman and Roberta have another heart to heart. And she tells him, like, Superman, it's obvious you're limiting yourself to conform to a normal society when you're extraordinary. And even so, he's very much like he's having an internal crisis because he's like, I know I've been trying to, you know, just hide this part of me because, you know, people think I'm a demon, a devil, some type of, you know, Hellboy. But really, you know, he goes to his parents' house. He tells them he loves them. And he's like, no matter what happens, we'll always be family, no matter what. And they tell him, like, you're always going to be our son. No matter what you look like, no matter what you do, we will forever love you since the day we found you in that little spaceship. And so then he dives into the bottom of the lake. He meets the projection of his deceased parents, and they tell him, you know, the story of Krypton, what happened, and what the radio box essentially was. It was their farewell message to him. And they also
don't forget where he is, though.
He's at the bottom of the fucking lake.
Well, he's in the Fortress of Solitude.
He's at the bottom of the lake with Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, it's like the bottom of the lake in Smallville. It's just like a lake in Smallville. I mean, it's its own continuity, so they could make. Yeah, it's basically the Fortress of Solitude, but it's underwater and
it's fucking weird.
No, in this continuity through the crystal in the Smallville lake instead of in the Antarctic, so it's it's just a different variation, which I think it's interesting.
I thought it was a lot cooler.
It's a little different to me.
He's got his second home right there at home.
Right. Yeah, he's still in Smallville. Yeah.
And kind of like it makes it like easier.
No one's gonna go down there.
And so then Superman has his heartfelt moment with his deceased parents, telling him that you shouldn't worry about what other people think. You've been a part of them your whole life. But even though you're a part of them, you're still part Kryptonian, and embrace and love yourself. And so, then it cuts to the Lee family. They're having breakfast. I'm missing a lot of details. It was a lot to unpack in this last.
There is a lot. There is a lot going on.
Yeah.
In, last chapter, because it would be like this. There was like 3 episodes of the radio show basically for the last chapter, and then every other like chapter was like at least like 5 or 6 episodes. So it's
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
added a lot more for the last like climax of of this story.
Oh, what else happened? Chuck Riggs and Tommy Lee were having not a heart-to-heart moment, but they were having a realization because Chuck Riggs was like, Tommy, I don't want you to think my family's bad. There's what's so bad about wanting to be with your own people. And he's like, Chuck, I have a broken arm. My family's been terrorized. What do you mean? There's that ideology is what got me in this situation. What got you in this situation? And then Roberta, she's Lois Lane comes to their house for breakfast. To the Lee family's house, his dad, the Dr. Lee tells his kids, like, I quit my job. They are fucking insane. I don't want to be around these white people anymore. And so, he's saying, I'm gonna start job hunting on Monday, and we're gonna stay here in Smallville, but we're gonna do so on our own terms. And so here's Lois Lane. She talks to Roberta. She gives her, a really fancy pen, might I add, to like a 10-year-old. And she's like, I'm always looking for, a junior reporter to take under my wing. And, Roberta's telling her about all this stuff with her dad. And she's like, well, kid, it sounds like you got your first lead. Do what journalists do and follow it. And, she follows it and she finds out basically that her dad was working for neo-Nazis trying to extract kryptonite from Adam Man's blood to use as a weapon to kill Superman.
That's crazy.
And so, she finds this. It's like a small cannonball of like lead, and inside is, probably like a piece of kryptonite the size of a bead. And she's just like, what the hell is this? And so, later on, it's the big baseball game. Chuck Riggs is there on the field, pitching. Tommy's there. The whole gang's there. Roberta finally realizes I'm never going to fit in anywhere I go, but that doesn't mean I can't try my best to enjoy myself. Because she's starting to make friends. She sees Lois Lane. Her folks are there. Tommy's there. And, right when she gets up to leave the stand to go do something, she gets picked up by by Matt Riggs, and he's calling her all these nasty words, and he takes her to the field and he's firing off the alien gun like he's like, one race, one religion, one house, and he's dragging this small child across the field like, I'm here to put a stop to all of this impurity. I'm gonna kill the Lees and I'm kill everybody else who doesn't think like me. And so Jimmy Olsen, he's like, Chuck Riggs, and he tosses him a bat. And Chuck is finally like, you know what? Enough's enough. And he whacks his uncle. Roberta kicks him in the leg. And everybody's like, get out of here. Just just fucking stop. And, it just escalates from there on because, Superman, he's finally embraced, I'm a Kryptonian. I'm not a normal human being. So he's just fucking shooting laser beams out of his eyes and just floating down all majestic. And he's telling, all the small Metropolis, I'm not an ordinary human. I'm an alien from another planet. And some of the people do join Matt Riggs' side. And he's like, kill him. He's fucking weird. He's not like us. End his shit.
I fucking hated that part. I hated that.
And Matt Riggs was like, see, Superman, even the people who you've been around your whole life don't want you. You fucking freak. And he's like, that's fine. But in time, they'll come to understand. And, he pulls out the kryptonite bazooka and he's shooting Superman. He's like, oh. And then Roberta tosses him the cannonball. And he's like, Superman, it's lead. It's the only thing that can stop it. And he's like, bet. And he pushes the cannonball in the bazooka, blows it up. And then for some reason, Matt Riggs has dynamite strapped to his chest. And he's like, well, guess what, buddy?
He's an extremist.
He said, I'm taking somebody with me.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, no, you're not. And he just flies up and, smashes the detonation device. And, he's talking to him and telling him, I might be different, but these are my people. The Lees are my people. Chuck Riggs, your nephew, is my people. We are all, the human race. And he's like, oh, yeah? Then he pulls out the kryptonite dagger and gives him a cha-cha, cut across the
It was
chest.
like a katana.
He had.
It was
I'm
like
gonna
shit.
give it to Matt. I am gonna give it to Matt. He had like so many things
He was
to
prepared.
like get him out of what else. Yeah, he was ready to just take
Yeah.
anybody out.
And then, you know, he's falling and Superman is, you know, momentarily like, you know, has his power taken away, but he snaps at the last second. He's like, okay. And then he grabs Matt Riggs and he's like, you're done. I'm taking you to fucking federal prison, you fucking bigot. And what else happens? And then
Don't
then
forget
it
the
kind of
freaking,
just then it's, you know, Clark Kent, Roberta, Lois Lane, you know, they're all at the Daily Planet, just, you know, talking and getting ready for the next scoop. And they did not have a Kellogg's Pep commercial.
No, they did not.
They should have been
Okay,
eating it
Josh.
in the like during breakfast. Or
Oh my
something.
god.
That would have been awesome if it was just like a little like cameo in the background, like when
Little Easter egg.
when the Lees, yeah, exactly. When the Lees were like saying, oh, like when Roberta and Tommy's father said, "Oh, I'm quitting my job." They're just like eating. There's like a Pep cereal box.
With Pep.
And they
There's a Pep
better
logo
have that
comes out of nowhere.
Blueberry Whirligig.
Yeah, the Blueberry World gig. Yeah, I did like the things that I liked that they added was the duality with Superman. He almost felt as lost as the other characters in within the series, like as the Lees. He was working on his duality and how much he wants to embrace of his Kryptonian heritage and how much he wants to basically just to fit in. And Roberta feels like that is the same way. She basically confronts Superman's like, you're definitely holding back. Like, Jimmy, everyone at the Daily Planet could have been, killed, and you took, you could have been there at such a nick of time if you actually flew. And she basically was like questioning if he could fly, and she basically called out Superman, and then that's when he had the realization to run to Smallville, tell his parents, whatever happens, you're still my family. And then that's when he jumps into Lake Solitude in Smallville, and then he finds the fortress. And
what?
Wait, go ahead.
Sorry, continue. Finish.
Well, the only thing I wanted to add was I did like the like how I interpreted it was when Superman was like seeing the visuals of his Kryptonian parents where they look like aliens. It was like from the memory he had of reading that comic book of what aliens look like. So it's just like his interpretation of what they look like. So they looked like super foreign and just like almost like demonic at that point. And then until he goes into the Fortress of Solitude and he sees them for what they are, they're basically just like almost like people just, from a distant land, and their technology and everything has just progressed, probably a millennium from past.
They were like
evolution.
year 3005, Earth is 1995.
Right. Well, it was like 1940. They're like 3033 or something. Yeah, which I do like. I like that. It's just basically what the human race kind of potentially could be, which I do like that kind of duality aspect as well. But yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was gonna say to like add to the Roberta thing. I'm gonna say I love that collab with them. That's part of my favorite one in this whole comic book series, the Roberta and Superman thing, because she brings sense to him and he brings sense to her. They're like you're saying, they're collabing with their own like sort of like race issue and all that stuff with themselves and identity issues. So, but like when Roberta comes up with that whole scenario of him can fly, it's because that when he was landing from the jump, he like made more of a race, like an easier land than like a more of a slam. And she's like, you can slow it down. You can, so you can fly. Why not fly? Because that's a sign of flying. So like, I like how this kid's like barely like, she's like, what, like how old is she again? Like around like 13.
I said like 10.
I think she was like 10 or 11. Yeah,
10?
that's what I assume.
She's
Yeah.
pretty smart
I would
for a
assume
kid.
the other kids are like 13, like Jimmy Olsen
Mhm.
and Tommy Lee and Chuck Riggs. I think they're 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I definitely
she's
agree with
pretty
Matt.
smart.
Roberta, I wish she would have been in the radio show because
Mhm.
Yeah,
she honestly played a really big pivotal role in a lot of it.
mhm.
And I know
Oh,
for
yeah.
me, another like really big moment in the comic was when the inspector, because they made him African American, and the Klan smashed up his badge. They kept calling him boy, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do whatever we want to you." And the
Oh yeah,
Matt Riggs is waving around that 279, just play toy
crappy
knife,
sword. Yeah,
and he's just he's laughing at them, but he's obviously scared, but he knows that I can hold my own once I get out of these ropes. And even after he gets out of being captured and he gets handed his inspector badge back, he's like, you know I wish they wouldn't have busted up my badge. And the the guy who runs the Daily Plan is telling them, it's just a badge.
White.
You were the same man you were before the badge, even after the badge. And he's like, I wish everyone else saw it that way. And I'm like, that obviously showed that he went through a lot of strife, struggle, and he fought tooth and nail to get that position. And I know for me, that really said a lot because being an inspector is hard. But being black in that time and getting such a highly respectable job as an inspector, and having people still talk all that shit about you, it's like he knows where he sits in the totem pole of society. But he felt reassured knowing that there were other people that he worked alongside and lived with that respected him enough to tell him that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, I do like how they added the that aspect to the character of Detective Henderson in the comic book. It added added a bigger dimension to the character, and he had his own struggles to deal with as well. So it was just like, he had his struggles, the Lees have theirs, and Superman was, facing the same kind of consequences, and they're all trying to figure out their place in society, and then they all come to the realization we're all people, and we all come from the same stock, and it's just trying to unite together and make the better tomorrow. So that's basically what they all stand for. And even when the Klan like kidnaps Detective Harrison and Perry White and Lois Lane, like they never lose their sense of self or like their sense of courage. Like their souls haven't been beaten down. They're like, oh, let's give up. They always knew what was right and what to kind of strive towards, and that was very admirable for all the characters. So I did want to add that. The only thing I wanted to say is the Atom Man, right? It's the Atom Man. Am I
Yes,
correct?
the Atom
Yeah.
Man.
Okay, so the Atom Man was in the radio show as well. So that's like another Easter egg, like tie-in to the radio show, that they did have the Atom Man in like previous episodes of the radio show. So it's nice that they added that to the
Okay, cool.
to the comic book itself. So it's like a nice little Easter egg, like tie-in. So I did like that aspect. The radio show, I think, is a little more realistic. It's not as fantastical, obviously, as the comic book. Like, it doesn't show Superman, with the Fortress of Solitude. It doesn't show Superman. They don't say Superman's like. They don't have Matt Riggs come out with a kryptonite gun. He's just literally has a sniper, and he's just going to shoot off like the 3 individuals that he wants to execute. And that's like, it felt more grounded than the comic book. I'm not saying that's a detriment to the comic book because I love the comic book as well. I'm just saying the radio show felt more real and felt more dire, like this could actually happen, than the comic book. But it's not a detriment to the comic book at all.
No, it's like I agree with you with that too.
I
Because,
agree
but like
100%.
because like at that time, like when no one really was thinking of like those kind of weapons to really add to this show, they're like take whatever they would
Yeah.
have because these guys are basically anybody like neighborhood people. They're no one big. They're all like people that live in the town. They're all just gonna have like standard ass. Oh, you got a hunting rifle. You got like a pitchfork, and, like machete, whatever the fuck you have in your house. They just bring whatever the fuck it is. This that's what they were. Like they weren't thinking. Just the comic book just enhanced it just for the readers, just like to give that little oomph into it. Everything like make a bigger climax to it all.
Yeah, it was
They give you
definitely
that-
more of that comic book, example, like you're saying.
Yeah, like it give you that thing so you can have that feeling, and like they added all the like necessary things you've been said, like you said before, like to improve or enhance the storytelling to this. But
Right.
like, I'm gonna go back into like this one part when the Superman had Matt Riggs up in the air, and when they're like blows up like the bombs are like strapped to him, and he like freezes the belt and smashes it, and
Yeah.
Matt's like, "When could you do that?" And he's like, "I was kind of winging it." Like,
Yeah, I
he
just
didn't
couldn't
know what
remember,
to do.
Yeah.
Then right after that, freaking the inspector freaking knocks out the freaking bigot police officer, and like for right after that, like I was like, "Oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome."
Oh
That
yeah,
was like,
I did
yes.
think past that.
Yeah, that was
Because
a neat
he has him
little
at
twist that
gunpoint.
they added.
Like he's like an asshole. He's like, oh, like even with that, like if we're you about that badge, I can't tell you from the other. I'm like, okay, this guy's like being stupid. He already has him at gunpoint. He doesn't have to go any further. Just be like, I got you now, you piece of shit. Like just be like that. Don't
Yeah.
like extend it. But like
Mhm.
after all that
But he
shit, just
hates
getting
him.
the. I know. But I love how he's just like, got him. I don't need my badge to take you down, bitch. And that was like his last follower too. It was the police officer, like in the radio
Yeah,
show.
that's true.
Oh
That
yeah,
was his last follower.
True. They didn't have
Last
that
one.
weasel character like in the comic book.
No.
I mean, in the radio show, I should say. Like
yeah.
called him.
He was a fucking weasel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't even remember his name. He was just like Weasel.
We're just gonna refer to him as the weasel.
Yeah.
The weasel.
I gotta the thing I want to say about the radio show, the guy who voiced Matt Riggs did such a good job. Like just his voice just sounded like dirty and grungy and gritty, and like I had like just even from like him having a normal sentence, like I didn't want anything to do with this guy, even if he was talking about Kellogg's Pep, I wouldn't want anything to do with him. But like it was just the voice really brought out that that sliminess and that grit that
This
you're like, oh, this
disgusting
guy
grit.
there's
Just
something
brought out
really
all
off
that
with this guy.
nasty
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the voice actor, a lot of props to that voice actor. I don't know his name. I should probably look that up. But a lot. Kudos to you. He did a good job.
Batyard's Finest takes our hats off to you. I can't wear
Yeah.
hats, but
Wait, you can't?
hats don't fit because of all my fucking hair.
Oh, I thought it was like a religious thing. I'm like, oh, is that
No,
Oh, okay. I never heard of that, but okay, that's fine. The religion of Jerry.
Oh god.
I do want to say, yeah, I do agree with you guys. Roberta was a heightened additive that like she heightened the story and like what the underlining momentum of the story kind of meant. And I do wish they had her in the radio show as well. But she like the Lees I like them so much in this comic book. I want them to become like a staple to the Superman canon, like to have like, Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, Lois Lane, and then like the Lees like kind of part of the Superman canon. I think that would be really, really
I would love
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think and if this was like their origin with this story with then that's like kind of how they got incorporated to the Superman canon. I think that'd be great. And just to have like Roberta kind of following Lois Lane's footsteps, I think that's a really interesting idea, and it opens up a lot of doorways for more stories to be told. And I think they would be a great addition to like the Superman, not back catalog, but like like his team basically.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually be pretty freaking dope if they do that. Like add them to the newest series that they're going to drop whenever they do. Drop
Yeah,
a new
I mean,
series.
they definitely
Like,
this definitely should be their origin. This should always be their origin for sure for any rendition. Like this is how they got introduced to Superman. Um, but yeah, Roberta was besides Superman, Roberta was my favorite character in the comic book. Like
Mm-hmm.
out of the whole thing, she was my favorite, and that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, Roberta, she like at every important turn in the story, she was either right there or she had a direct influence after it happened.
hmm
True.
I
Like
when they were the Unity House was blowing up. She's like, "What's your game, Chuck Riggs? Why are you acting so, why are you acting so weird about stuff all the damn time right now?" And even when she figured out, like, she's like, "Tommy, Chuck Riggs was there when the Klan attacked our house. I recognized his boots. He threw the bomb." And he's like, "Yeah, I figured because he's a good pitcher and he missed, obviously." So Tommy knew. I mean, I like Tommy just as much as Roberta because it takes a strong sense of, I'm not going to say justice, but forgiveness to, not look at a man who just, look at somebody who tried to, commit attempted murder and just be like, "Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to throw that ball. I want you to hit it right here. Just hit right there as fast as you can." And it's, I think for Tommy too, like as much as we love Roberta, Tommy was also, showing it's okay to forgive people who mean ill will or harm, and, show them that kindness is always the way to go. And, like even when, Chuck Riggs was like, he's freaking out. He's like, "Tommy, my uncle, he's a good guy deep down. He's having this, deep internal crisis." He's like, "Chuck, your uncle is a piece of shit. You're cool.
Yeah,
But your uncle's a piece
he's
of
trying
shit."
to
When I
convince.
was living back in Chinatown, I was just playing ragtag baseball. Being on the Unity team is my first official team with matching jerseys, playing against other people, not with neighborhood kids, but people from, the next town over. And he's conveying and laying out all of his emotion and, essentially letting go of the facade and false bravado he's built up and telling them this is a first for me. And I'm not gonna give this up because your uncle's a bigot or because you're trying to convince me he's not. And even though you tried to hurt me, I forgive you for it, and I want us to be friends so we can move past this and I can educate you on what it means to be a better human being in person.
okay.
No, I totally agree.
I fully agree with you.
Yeah, Tommy did have a lot to add to obviously both stories. I do wish with the radio show they did end it with them giving the baseball to Tommy. I mean, they definitely hinted at it, but like he doesn't really show up after I like right before the baseball game. He doesn't show up like at the end of the episode. So I mean, it would have been nice, like little cherry on top, but it's not like it's definitely implied. You could kind of make it. It's your own mind's eye, so you can kind of connect the dots anyway. What happens? But it would have been nice to have him at the end of the show. But yeah, no, you're right. He was very more forgiving than Roberta with the whole incident with Chuck. Chuck wasn't a bad kid. He was just under bad circumstance. So that is pretty admirable. I liked how they hinted at like Roberta and Jimmy Olsen having like a subtle like little teenage crush on each other, but they didn't like go way into it. It's like oh nice. There's like a little.
They made it easy.
What could be for
like
in store for the future? It's not like it would have been too cheesy if they were starting the date at the end of the comic. I would have like that. Yeah, that would suck. But I'm glad they hinted at it. It kind of like I like how they hint at it. They start out as friends, it's like a blooming relationship. They could be friends and blossom into whatever. But I'm glad it's just like very subtle and it's not too in your face like, oh yeah, and then they'll live happily ever after or whatever. But like it kind of puts those seeds down like they could end up like going to prom together and future years, like in like 3 or 4 years.
like
from now,
it could blossom somewhere.
right? Exactly, which I liked. I did like that.
The seeds have been sown.
I don't know why I'm like blurry.
Oh, you're
Focus,
fuzzy.
Oh, here.
You're back.
That was my beer goggles. All
All
right, well, Matt.
That's sad if you had to put beer goggles on for this.
You gotta put beer goggles on for me. So what would you guys?
Right,
I mean, I know we rated these prior. I mean, I think they're all kind of the same. It's one continuing story. So
it's like rough to rate them. Like
it's still the same. Like I said before, I actually today, as I was leaving work, I told one of my coworkers, like, if you want to teach your son, because he's at like middle school age, so he's kind of in that prime age to where he can start understanding stuff and asking the right questions. And I told him, I was like, if you want to show, your son, a good superhero story about, fighting racism and also, racial identity, this would be, a nice place to start, because it's pretty, it gets pretty, dicey, especially with some of the words that they use.
Yeah, they don't hold back with the punches, especially with the radio show.
Radio show goes full out.
Yeah, it's nice that like they did that. Like I said, back in the 1940s, that's like unheard of, and then still with all this crap was still happening in American history. It hasn't really ended. So it's nice that it was at a simpler time that they were even trying to reveal this to people and kids that this isn't the right way of thinking. We're all united. We're all from different countries and places anyway of origin, so we might as well band together. So it is nice that they were teaching this at such an early time in like history with American history, at least. What was I gonna say? It's very good. But the thing I wanted to say was that's what it was. That I wish shows and things had the balls to teach things of this caliber nowadays. Like nothing I could
don't
think
have it because
no, nothing I could think of
I
immensely
definitely
close
agree.
to this. Nothing.
Nobody has the balls to do anything anymore with anything.
No.
So
everyone
thinks there's someone's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna hurt someone's feelings. We're gonna do this to somebody.
But this is real issues that people need to address.
The
more you ignore it, the more it's gonna spread as a virus. Like if you just ignore virus, it's gonna be a virus, and it's gonna spread.
It's just like HIV/AIDS. You don't talk about it, and you just out here slinging that shit. It's gonna keep spreading.
You still get it.
But I definitely agree with what Josh just said. I think especially now with everything that's been happening, from the pandemic, even to, prior with the last 3 years, something like this does need to be, said and done again, because I think for me, people have definitely just gotten too complacent in, like, let's, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. They're saying let's push social reform, change societal norms, and, push for, better treatment among all races. But it's, what examples do you have to follow? I mean, this comic right here absolutely blew me away, and I wasn't expecting the level of, just trauma from all the way to, racial profiling to even like how Superman in the comic obviously dealt with racial identity, because that's a day-to-day issue people, will always deal with, and there's not enough media and outlets to, say, hey, there's nothing wrong with this. You are your own person and you're awesome. And if anybody says it to you, they're a piece of shit and fuck them.
I agree. 100%. Yeah. I would probably give it a radio show a 10, just for the time in history and just what it stands for and everything. The comic book, I want to rate it a 10, but, I'll give it a 9 just because, it came after the fact and, it's still, I wouldn't say, this is not the correct language, but it's not riding the coattails of the radio show, but it's definitely taken inspiration from it. So it's not like an original idea, but it's original enough. Like it takes the radio show and runs with it, which I do like. And I'm glad they both exist. It's a refresher to hear and read both of these. So Matthew,
Maddie,
I'm gonna say if I'm gonna be Maddie, what the
Maddie.
Okay. Oh god. So with rating these, like I said, like it's really hard to rate these, but like to me, with the radio show and the comic book series, the comic book 3-volume or 3-issue thing they put out, I'm gonna like bundle. I don't want to bundle, but at the same time, like I rate them the same with they're both 10 to me because I enjoyed the radio show a lot. The radio show because it gives you all like everyone's voices, the scenarios, everything that's going at it with like what's happening with it, and you get all the feelings from what's happening, the scare, like the fear in everybody's voices. They're on point. They didn't like try to sway away from the actual story that they started off with. They finished where it was. They didn't like try to get away with the content in the comic book series. The 3 issues they put out was like I liked it. Like they enhanced the radio show and they gave you more to it to at least progress and show more for everybody than just like this is just this straight story is happening with this one family and shows with that it's attacking. It's like this can happen to like everybody, like how we're saying throughout this whole podcast, and like. I just like you get like I got like with the comic book you get like you get the same thing, you get like you get feels, you get like anger with certain things with the Klan's doing, you get excitement whenever something's going good for once, and all that. You get all the good emotion, like all the emotions you need out of it, so it doesn't leave you hanging with like anything with the bullshit that you get sometimes with some comic books. So I'm just gonna go with like I'm staying with the 10s for both of them.
Wow.
I'm gonna follow suit behind Matt, but I'm gonna give both an 11, just because.
Holy shit!
Broke the bar. It's like the thermostat.
First time in Batyard history.
It's like both Matt and Josh have said. The radio show for when it came out, this did a very powerful thing. And especially at the time of which the Great Depression was ending, and it's encouraging people, eat all your food, be a better person, look out for your siblings, help mom and dad. And the radio show is also like, that's the Kellogg's Pep commercial. And the radio show is like, don't, don't just, if you know something's wrong, don't just go along with it, because that's a part of the problem. Because as we talked about, Chuck Riggs, he wanted to speak up, but the fear of his uncle was just so strong. He was like, I can't go against, a man who's taken both me and my mother in after my father has died. He's been my father figure. I love him dearly, but he had to make the decision himself. I can't keep hiding what my uncle is doing. And even in the comic, after listening to the radio show, it's like Josh said, it's not necessarily following the coattails, but it's definitely following the path that the radio show paved for it.
Yeah, it's like passing the baton almost.
Yeah, passing the baton, because the visualizations, of seeing, Chuck Riggs, in the suit, Matt Riggs in the suit, the Lee family, scared, terrified for their lives, Superman fighting his own demons even, which was, another big step that I think, people forget. Like, everybody has identity crisis. They don't know who they are, what they are, and how they fit into things. And sometimes it's just that it takes the pep talk of a small child to let you know, like, hey, there's more to you than what you're giving to the world, and you need to give it everything you got and then some. And even how, Lois Lane, she was here and there, and Perry White and the inspector, they were here and there, but everybody who was involved played such a, not monumental, but a very big part in how the story impacted not just the characters, but how it was also told. And I don't think anything else could honestly replicate it like this, following, something as great as the radio show. So 11 out of 10 for both.
I'm really glad you guys enjoyed this. I didn't expect you guys to enjoy it as much as you did, so I'm actually pleasantly surprised by that. This was a new thing. This was a different thing that we done. So I'm glad we kind of did this. So yeah, this is the end of the retrospect of the radio show, Superman versus the Fiery Cross, and the comic book Superman versus the Klan. So it has it's been a ride. I'm glad we did it throughout a few episodes. So
yeah, this was a beast.
This was a ride. This is a ride.
Yeah.
Oof.
No, I
go
definitely
watch
will be.
Go watch the radio show and read the fucking comic. Is what we're saying.
Yes,
this needs to be. This needs
exposure.
The
radio show.
No,
you can find the radio show on YouTube. You can find the comic book probably in any of your local comic book shops, any bookstore that carries any comic books, or just go on Comixology and just get it on there.
The Google Play Store.
It's a great. Or the Google Play Store.
Yeah,
I forget things are starting to add more. I wish I had the physical copy.
Yeah. It is nice. They do have a description of the radio, like about the history in the back, which is nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's at the end. No, that's at the end too of the, what's it called? The audio one, not the audio. I mean, the
digital one.
Digital one. The digital one. Yeah, the digital has that at the end too. All the additionals.
Yeah, I'm glad I have the physical copy, because I definitely will read it again. This is a fun time. I will definitely recommend more Superman radio shows in the future. They definitely didn't have as, I wouldn't say they definitely had an impact, but not as much as this. Select series is probably the most famous.
This is Game Changer
out of, yeah, this is probably the most famous out of the whole radio show episodes, story arcs. So take that as you will. But the other ones are very fun. I'll say that. There's a few with Batman in them, and that's very interesting. Yeah.
Ooh, shit! Crossovers? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Must be later.
So we'll save those.
Oh,
God. Matt, we've been talking about this for a while. So Matt, you
take
it
I know.
Away.
Let's go. I'm taking
it away.
This is a meaty thing.
Yes, it is. I know. So let's go to the short that I picked out. That's Fairy Tale episode 222, Transform. We'll make this one quick so we can get actually to talk about the actual main thing a lot more. So let's go. I'm gonna go with Jerry on this one.
Thank God.
Jerry, because I know you are not gonna handle this one, Josh.
I was prepared. I was really expecting you to pick me. I was like, oh my God. All right, thank you.
I learned my lesson from out of you. I learned my lesson.
Why? Because of the other things? Because I have something I could throw at you for the next episodes?
Sure. But I know Jerry has more of a background with this show, and he will actually pronounce names properly.
I have absolutely no background, so I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
All right, everybody. We are going to be talking about episode 222, Transform of the hit series Fairy Tale. So here's what's happening. Everybody wants a quick costume change from our lovable cast from Natsu Dragneel, Happy the Talking Cat, Lucy Hartfilia, the dynamic duo of Panther Lily and Gajeel, even to smaller characters like Wendy, Carla, and Urza Scarlet. And so basically everybody's just going out trying to find a new costume, just a new quick wardrobe. So Mirajane is teaching Natsu, Lucy, and Happy how to use her transformation magic. And it half and half works. And we're going to get into some of the consequences of two sneaking assholes who tried to learn how to do it without her permission. Then Gajeel, Wendy, Carla, Urza, and some other person whose name I forget, Crispy, I'm sorry. Evergreen. They go to a wardrobe shop to find the new fashionable items, and Gajeel and Panther Lily come out like Batman and Robin, claiming that they are the new dynamic duo and the heroes of Fiore. And Urza Scarlet also follows suit in a Catwoman bodysuit, saying she is Fairy Woman, and she goes around town doing very heroic deeds, from cutting down a tree to give a child back her balloon, getting a wagon stuck out of mud, and even carrying a little old man across town. And along the way, it's these two old phonies and posers who sneakily try to learn how to use Mirajane's transformation magic to make themselves, young, hip, and, back in their prime. And the stress of trying to relive their glory days caused them to transform into the villains, Mr. Purple Guy and Smoker. So with these two heinous villains attacking the city, Fairy Woman shows up to deliver a swift butt kicking in the name of justice, to be aided by the heroes. I forget their names. Like, I just watched this and I forgot their names that they said.
Which no, it's Fairy.
I can tell you what you just said.
Fairyman and
Fairyman and
Fairy Boy.
Fairy Boy.
Fairy. They're staying to the fairies.
Fairyman and Fairy Boy, and she tells them that they are stealing her thunder, and she instead delivers them a swift kick of justice, and resumes giving a beat down to Mr. Purple Guy and Smoker, telling them that they need to get their life together.
That's pretty much right, basically, right there.
Yes.
Good job, Jerry.
Yes.
So how you guys like the episode?
I loved it. I love Gajeel and Panther Lily. They're my favorite Dragon Slayer duo.
That's same here. That's literally my favorite out of the group. Josh, I really want to know how you feel.
I've been curious about this.
I'm super curious.
All right. For context, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I didn't know any of their names. I didn't know why there was a flying piece of paper that was talking. I don't know why there was a fucking.
That was Natsu. Natsu turned to the craft paper.
Okay, and then there's a piece of cabbage talking, and then I don't know. To be honest, I was watching this. I checked out within like the first 5 minutes. I was like, I have no idea what's happening.
Oh my god!
I can't.
Man.
I can't really give you real. I feel like I need to know what the fuck is going on in this show to tell you how I feel about this.
With this episode, I didn't choose an actual real episode. It's more a filler episode, so you don't need background. You don't need anything. This is out of the actual realm of story. So that's why I gave you. This is why I chose this one.
The one looked like Batman. One looked like Catwoman. The Smoker guy, I liked his backstory. He's like, oh yeah, I look like shit. I asked you out, and I'm now a hunk, and now you must pay, kind of thing. That was kind of cool. I liked his bit. I don't know. I can't. I don't have much to say because literally I had no idea what was happening. I was like, why is this guy a piece of paper? Why is this cabbage talking? What is happening?
Oh my god!
And just to being episode 222 didn't do me any favors because I don't know any context about who this character is, what their motivation is, why is his hair purple, why is anything, and why is there bunny rabbit that can talk, and I didn't know. I didn't know. What
He's
was
a
going on.
cat.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
does.
cat, mister.
Whatever.
He's a cat.
He's a cat. They're all cats.
Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference. He's still. I don't. That doesn't help me. That's like you're saying that like that reveals like yeah he's a cat. Of course he could talk. You fucking idiot. Like that doesn't make
Yeah,
any
come
difference.
on now. Everybody in this show like doesn't bid eye. Like, oh,
He's a magic animal.
It's Happy. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
well. Technically, he's actually so Happy, Carla, and Panther Lily are Exceeds. They're from a different freaking what's it called?
They're
Different
from a
planet.
different
Actually,
dimension.
different dimension. Actually.
Of course.
Crispy, you broke Josh again.
I don't know. Maybe if I watched the pilot, I would have more to say about it, but I don't know. I was just like, I don't know what's happening.
Even the pilot doesn't help you. You have to legit watch the series to understand all.
It's one of those
that's
things
not
you have to watch.
It's
it from
one of those you
start
have to
finish.
watch
happening.
it.
I'm telling you, that's
Yeah.
not happening. And I think there's an anime for everyone. This is not for me. I don't think this is for me.
Okay.
I don't know
Like-
why.
like-
Okay. Is this all animes? I want to ask you guys. So the girls, their chests are so big. Is this every anime, or is it just this one, or is it just a selection?
No, it's
okay. So the boob thing, it's a thing more common in older animes.
true.
They
This
do
looks
it kind
new.
of sort of now. It's
Yeah.
it's new-ish. It's been around for a
It's-
while.
It's more
So
shonen. If you get anything more shonen related, like kind of like the animes, they're gonna have more big titty women running around.
But there
than
are
anything
animes
else.
who have, breast size proportionate to like a woman's height. And
Yeah, they're
age.
normal people. Yeah.
All right, I'm not complaining. I was just asking. That's
Oh,
my
man.
rating. That's my review. That's all I have to say.
Josh is just confused. Josh is like
Yeah.
question mark out of 10. That's him
Yeah,
again.
question mark out of 10. Yeah, I can't. I feel like I can't actively. I can't rate it like fairly rate it because I had no idea what was happening. Like I can't give it a rating because I feel like
Okay,
it's
so I want to bring up this one spot. So I want to know Josh's reaction when Natsu turns into Lucy, and Happy gets a Lucy face. How did you feel on that?
it made me feel uncomfortable.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked into this episode even further and further and further. I tried to make. I wanted this to be canon so bad. I wanted all this to be canon.
I didn't have
So,
the heart to tell them.
No, I wanted this all to be canon. But the funny thing is, in my deep dive of finding out, this is a partial. It's 25-75 canon. It's like canon 75 is the 25. 75 is all the filler. Is the canon is literally the transformation stuff. All that like Lucy and Natsu and Happy trying to learn transformation. The other two knuckleheads trying to learn it's not canon. They're just there to add on to the ending of the battling a giant superhero fight scene thing. That's literally it. Everybody else doing their own thing and getting costumes, all filler. Doesn't really exist in the manga series. They just did to have some freaking fun. You just like
Josh is ready to move past this.
I'm like, yeah, I completely agree. Yes, 100% with everything Matt said. I wish this was canon too. I wish, Natsu.
Josh wishes all cats knew how to transform
Yes.
into people.
Oh, of course.
oh
I
my
wish,
god.
I wish Macao and Wakaba turned into something. I completely agree with what Matt said. I love Wakawaba. My favorite.
No, you don't.
I
He's
can't
barely anyone's favorite. Those
I can't even tell you which one that is. I'm literally looking at the Wikipedia. I needed it to help me know what the fuck.
Oh
was
my
happening.
god. So my
Oh.
rating and review of this Fairy
All right,
Tale
thank you,
is a
Jerry.
very good series. If it's your cup of tea, like Josh said. I
Yes.
watched it years ago. I love it. It's got a lot of great moments and memorable characters and instances. This was one of them. 7 out of 10. Please watch it for the memes.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind watching like 5 episodes and getting a feel for how I feel about this show. I feel like 5 episodes is fair amount to really
Yep.
know if I would like it or not.
Okay.
So I can't really say yay
I
or
can't
nay.
make 5 episodes a short, so I can't do that.
You can make that a long. You can make
Oh
that
god.
as your long version.
Okay, so with me, to wrap this up, because my rating is gonna be at least mine. I'm around 7.5 to an 8 with this episode. It's just that it's a great series. If you have a chance, go watch it. And I believe it's on Hulu and definitely on was it Funimation. And it's dubbed and subbed and dubbed on there. Josh, just stop nodding because you
I gotta pee, so you keep talking.
So go pee. So yeah, so that's my rating. I was a 7.5, like between. I'll go more 8 because I enjoyed it so much. I actually enjoyed it so much. When Pantaloon and Casual just show up and they're just like legit. Oh, that's just great. But we're gonna move on to our next segment.
We will
Pumpkinhead.
resume Pumpkinhead when Josh gets back.
Yes, basically. We're an intermission. I love it. That you broke Josh.
I've been thinking about how I'm gonna do my pick, and I think don't say anything, but I think I'm gonna go with the idea I had.
Okay. You gonna break him too?
This is gonna be more just for scenery. Like the plot, everything else doesn't matter. I just want y'all to see the scenery of it.
That's what I did with this one, just to have fun with it. And he just blew up. So we're gonna hurt him so much with this stuff. When Josh is like, we have to tell him, all right, you just watch like 5 episodes, but make sure you watch the episode. The show that we're talking about.
Well, I still got like 3 weeks before it's my turn to pick, so I'll iron it out. I'll iron it out.
Wait, no. Wait, do you have 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Are you after me? I thought it was Josh for some reason.
Yeah, Josh is after you. Then it's me.
Okay. No, you got like. Well, I'm so confused because we're adding the other podcast in the middle.
Yeah, we're doing the guest. We're doing the guest.
Yeah,
Big Josh.
That's the thing that's the thing that's screwing me up. That's screwing me up right now.
Right, we're doing a guest. Which we'll reveal at the end of this. Oh man, I really needed that. That was a long pee.
I'm proud of you, buddy.
Sorry about that. I hope they entertained you enough for this podcast to continue.
Yeah, fine. Stop poking me, damn it! Stop it.
Please continue on with the feature film.
Yes, feature film is we're gonna be talking about is literally Pumpkinhead from 1988. Well, if you look at the different years, it's supposedly 1987, 1988. But whatever.
I thought it was 88.
Because it is 88, but like I see other people saying that it's 87 for some reason.
They filmed it in 87.
I think it's like theater release, then the DVD, like then the radio VHS release.
When did the radio show come out?
I don't know. We'll talk about it later. So I'm gonna take us away with this one. So basically, this is a movie. This is a horror movie, basically that takes place in this backwoods, western style feel town that these teenagers end up going to because they want to do some like BMXing and haven't enjoyed like their time, but they end up like setting down and BMXing next to this little shop that's owned by this gentleman named Ed and his boy Billy. and they're basically doing BMXing, but they have a dog. This dog that Ed and Billy own got got loose and chased after the BMXers. Billy ran out to go get the dog back. BMXers, not dirt bikers. My bad. Why am I saying BMXers? Dirt bikers.
It's the same thing.
Are they?
No,
I forget.
it's not.
No,
they're not.
they're definitely not. So I was gonna say they're definitely not. So dirt bikers end up like they're doing their own little thing around, like just driving around the field that they have, and they didn't know Billy was chasing out this damn dog that's going around. Damn you, gypsy! And one of the dirt bikers both the dirt bikers actually came around the same hill, and one nearly missed Billy, and one actually collides into Billy, causing him to have some internal injuries and slowly pass away. And everyone else, the main guy that actually hits him actually runs away to get away, and everyone else goes to try to find some help and go after the guy that ran away. And the father ends up coming back from a little errand run that he did prior, and finds out the son's dead, and he takes him away, gives the actual one guy, decent person of the group, an evil stare, and fucking walks off with the kid, and has second thoughts, and he remembers in the past that there is a thing that there's a ritual thing that they do. They get revenge that people like to do in this backwoods country town, and so he decided to go pay a visit to this voodoo witch lady that he had to get what was it in basically just like instructions, like not instructions, address of her by this little kid. He paid $10 for. And he took him halfway to the house area and dropped him. The kid's like, "Fuck this! I'm not going any further." She creeps me the fuck out, so he runs away. And he goes up to this old lady that's this old witch voodoo woman, and she tells him, "Okay, you got to do all this stuff to get your revenge back, to summon this creature that's called Pumpkinhead." And the creature is, you have to go to a certain graveyard, dig up this one grave, and then once you find whatever's in the grave, bring it back to me. We have to do this ritual. Guy does the whole thing, picks up this little Smeagolish looking creature thing, and brings them back to the woman's hut. She does this whole blood ritual with the father and the dead son, and brings Pumpkinhead live. And once Pumpkinhead is now summoned, and he has his task in mind, he goes after the people that have to be taken down, like that. He has to take out the people that are sought out by the person that's still alive, or whoever, like the person that's been done wrong to. So Pumpkinhead's going after all the teenagers that are doing all the dirt biking, even the girlfriends. So one by one, he's like basically killing everybody or anybody that gets in the way of the path of Pumpkinhead. Doesn't matter, just stay out of his way. But later down the road, you end up finding out that Pumpkinhead is connected not just by a ritual, by literally body and soul with Ed, the father. And he gets, like, whenever Pumpkinhead's about to kill, he gets with this weird vibe, sets him off like center. He gets a little creeped out by it all. And then he realizes by the end, no one's going to be able to kill. He's done a horrible thing, wants to take it back. The only way to kill Pumpkinhead is by him stopping it. But once he tries to stop it, he knows he can't kill it. But he ends up finding out that if he hurts himself, it affects Pumpkinhead. So he ends up taking his own life to kill Pumpkinhead before he kills the rest of the dirt biking members and crew that part of it. I think there's just left to this one girl and
it was the girl and her boyfriend.
Was it a boyfriend? I didn't know if they were boyfriend and girlfriend. I thought they were just friends.
I mean, it was a couple strip, obviously.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so at the end, they survive. But if you notice throughout the whole movie, like the whole time, whenever Pumpkinhead got a victim, Pumpkinhead's face would slightly change his form to the end when, like, you get a stare down between Pumpkinhead and Ed looking at each other, and Pumpkinhead is starting to take shape. Like, his face is starting to take Ed's face shape, and Ed's face is starting to go into a more demonic look and losing its more of a humanity to him. And it was looking like Pumpkinhead was going to take over whatever was left of him afterwards, after D was over. And once Ed dies, he shrivels up into like whatever he found in that grave spot, and the old voodoo woman takes him back and puts him into that grave and buries him for the next summoning of Pumpkinhead. This is like more of a cult. So like with this movie, it's like, to me, I would say me and Jerry's knowledge, like not a lot of people know this movie that much. It's more of like a low key cult following movie. Like no, like if you are into horror movies, you will find it and diving into it. It's like really weird.
It's
So
actually funny. It's a Halloween ritual that I watched this movie at some point.
Oh yeah, I do the same thing.
Like the first time I watched it, I fell in love with it. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this movie for as long as I can. So it was just funny that you picked it because I'm like, oh man, I need to find where I can watch Pumpkinhead. And the people who own the rights to it are a bunch of assholes because it was free and they made me pay for it.
On Amazon, right? Wasn't on Amazon, right?
It was.
For me, it was on Amazon, showed free. And then when I went to Amazon to watch it,
when I tried to watch it on Amazon, it said not available because
that's what I saw.
AMC owns it, so they put it on like their streaming app, and they want people to pay for it. And I said, you guys can suck a dirty dick. I'm not paying.
So we probably missed it by like a few days.
I don't know. Amazon had two things for me. It was there was Pumpkinhead, then there was Pumpkinhead again too, but like it was the same movie. But it was like you had to rent it. The other one wasn't like able to be rented or watched.
No, yeah, the first one said not available. Then the second one, you had to rent it.
Yeah, and like I remember when I suggested this movie, I found everything that I think the night or the day before, and it was free on Amazon. And I think
that's how I started watching.
I think we just missed it by like a few days, to be honest.
I think so because like Halloween's now like in season. So like, all the horror movies can't be free to watch. They have to be rentals because people are going to be paying to freaking watch this crap. So I was like kind of disappointed.
But I love this movie. I love Pumpkinhead. I think Pumpkinhead is one of those movies, like Matt said, it's a cult classic. You know, if you've never watched it or you don't know anybody who's heard of it, you would not know it existed.
No, it's at the bottom. It feels like it feels like it's at the bottom for some reason, but you can't. You have to go deep into there to go catch it, like pull it out. Like you have to go fishing. It's really weird. It's like it should be like at least in like mid-tier horror movies area where people would know more about it, but like barely anybody you talk about it. Like if you're not like talking to an older generation of like fans of horror fans, that's like the only place you're gonna hear them like talk about Pumpkinhead. Anyone else won't be talking about it at all. That's in our generation. That's really weird.
One of the pleasantries of Pumpkinhead, like once Pumpkinhead is summoned and he's on his mission, that's all he's doing. He's not stopping to reason with you. He's going to catch. He's the mortician because he's making a hot body turn cold. And not only that, he is very disrespectful with how he does it. Like with the two people who tried to help the kid the most, they actually got it the worst. Like
definitely.
The boyfriend, he got like all like cut up and bruised by like tree branches and stuff, and all his blood was drained. And the girlfriend, you know, she was killed and she got her face smashed on the glass. And Pumpkinhead like rubbed it a little bit and fucking broke the glass and pushed her in and just laughed. And even the main dude who killed the boy, his girlfriend got it pretty bad because he just climbed up a tree and he was like, I'm gonna drop you. And so then he looks down. He's like
a rock.
He's like an asshole. He's like, yeah, have fun. Pick up your toys now, bitch. Man, I think it's something to be said too. Like Pumpkinhead, I don't know the budget for it. You know, you can tell that the animatronic took the shape from the xenomorphs in Alien.
Well, just from it was made by the same company.
Oh, it was? I didn't know that.
It was made by the Stan Winston's production company. So they did the same animatronics for Alien when it came out. So basically, if you think about it, it's kind of like a copy and paste body style and the sorts,
Gotcha.
but they didn't use any of its like the alien's techniques of how it kills people really, because Alien would done actually more and use its tail and everything. And, was it Pumpkinhead just used basically brute force to get through everything. He didn't
But
know
it,
just like childish things.
and it's also like Crispy said, you have it's an old woman. She's obviously made a deal with the devil to live forever, and gain the years of each person sacrificed. And she straight up tells the dude, like, I can't bring your son back to life. Leave. Like, she's giving him plenty of time to just stop.
Oh, she
But
gave him multiple options.
as a hurt parent, he's like, I want revenge. And she's like, say what you want. And then he finally says it, and she's like, okay, I gave you multiple chances and opportunities. What happens now is on your own. Even when he's like, he goes back to it, he's like, I want you to stop it. This isn't what I wanted. I just wanted my boy back. He's like, and she tells him, she's like, you're paying the ultimate price for revenge, which obviously is his own life, which fueled Pumpkinhead. And it really goes to show, how much hurt someone can go through before they take, that final step. And even prior to that, everybody's telling him, bury your son, grieve him, but go about your business. This is not what your son would want.
Every single freaking like neighbor of his, everybody in the small town knows Pumpkinhead. Everybody knows like the rumors, the stories, every single little detail about Pumpkinhead, except for the ritual. They just know you had to go to this woman to get Pumpkinhead to be summoned. They don't know what you actually had to do for
I think really,
but like everyone knows it's just pure evil. That you should not deal with him. If you become an item within his like, let's say he has a route of killing his people. If you stray and like you break that line, you're a target now. So that's why no one tries to open doors for anybody or try to help, because once you do that, he thinks you're now a target too, and he will wreck you. Oh, you're what?
What?
Jerry's just doing this, so he's confusing the fuck out of me. Oh no, we lost Jerry.
Oh. Okay. Well.
Yeah, so like it's really nuts, like how this thing is. Josh, like, how do you feel in Pumpkinhead a little bit?
Oh, okay.
While we try to get Jerry back in.
Do we have Jerry?
Hello.
All right, so
that was I was trying to tell you, like, oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm like in my head, I'm like, okay, wait, I'm like, fuck.
Okay.
We just had a little technical difficulties, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry, we just couldn't hear Jerry. Yes, a Pumpkinhead. Okay, I'll tell you what I liked about it. I'll tell you that first. Okay,
tell me what you hate.
All right.
Tell me what you hate.
No. Let me tell you this first. Okay, the animatronics. The Stan Winston team is great. The look of the monster is awesome. The silhouette of it, the shape of it, it definitely reminiscent of the Alien for sure. That was the first thing I thought of. But it has its own kind of unique facial features. It kind of does look like it's a rooted pumpkin or something. I don't know. But the atmosphere is very good. I love the lighting in the beginning when they're setting up the Pumpkinhead mythos, where it's like, what's his name, Ed Hardy, like as a child in the 1950s, and then the Pumpkinhead's coming about trying to kill the guy who was doing the wrongdoing of that little boy back in the 1950s. He dies, and I like the lighting. And the atmosphere and the animatronics. The lighting was really cool, especially I feel like that first segment was almost like my favorite part of the whole movie, because it set up the Pumpkinhead mythos, but added a lot of mystery to it as well. And the lighting was interesting because like the outside setting, it obviously was a set, but it was like a movie set, like horror set, which like made it like perfect, like it was almost like a dreamlike state. the lighting was like blue outside, and then the interior was like all warm and a lot of oranges, a lot of brights, and I was like bright colors, so like it made you feel more comfort while you're outside. It was like all cold and depressing almost, so like you felt almost uncanny outside, and just like that use of lighting was very interesting. I really like that. Um, the acting with the boy and the father. What's his name? Billy Hardly.
Ed and Bill.
Ed and Bill. Their acting between them. There's a lot of charm to it, and it seemed like that they actually were genuine. Like Lee, that was his father, and that was the boy. Like, and that their acting and their duality. I mean, not duality, but they're like how they fed off each other. I think was really really good, and I liked even the little bits when he's like eating the apple, and then his son eats the apple. You know, like there's those little like heart to heart moments, like like a father and son would actually have. That felt very natural. The things.
Tell us what you hated.
What do you hate?
I don't hate this movie.
What do you hate?
What I didn't like, it seemed like the directing was off, the editing was off, and the acting was off. Especially with the teenage characters, especially like in the center of it. It was like the editing.
You're talking about Sean.
I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Not Sean, Steve.
When they kept saying Steve, it was like so horrendously bad. Like what they're saying, they're like, "We gotta find Steve." It was so bad. It was awful. That's literally how they sounded. And I was like, "Oh my god, shut the fuck up!" And then she died, and I was happy. But then, the acting was so bad, and the editing was just off. It was just like they would cut to a close up, and there was a wide shot, and there was a close up, and it was like all the shots like lasted like 5 seconds, and like you almost like were getting like vertigo just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, like with the shots and the composition. The editing was too quick. I definitely want you to watch it again if you ever do, which I guess Jerry does every year, so he will. To watch it, focus on the editing. Look, especially in the center of the movie when like they're cutting. It's just like it's almost like jumps, and it's not like a smooth. It doesn't go with a movement. I'm just like I don't know what's happening. I know what's happening, but it just like feels off. And then the directing feels off just because the acting was bad. So that's what I wanted to say about that. This movie, there's a lot of things I like about it, like the atmosphere and stuff. Some of the odd shot choices were weird, like when she was having a conversation with Ed Harley, and Ed, oh my god, this was bad too when he was acting, and he was like, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it. It was just like so bad, and it was like he was like hitting himself. He's like, no, you gotta stop. And then it was just like it almost like felt natural in the beginning with all the acting, and then it just it decreased like at every scene how the acting was. Like the more fantastical the movie got, the worse the acting got. So yeah.
Oh god. Oh yeah, Joe. To answer your question about the budget, though, quick, they got $3.5 million.
Jesus Christ, that was a fucking waste.
I thought you liked this movie.
I do. I like the movie, but $3.5 million? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How good did it do in box office?
I mean, look.
I mean, they made
because
more.
This is the only one out of 4. No, okay, so let me put a damper to that one, Josh. So this is the only one that made the theaters. The 3 other ones only went to right the DVD and VHS and DVD.
Oh God.
So in box office, it actually made money.
Okay.
Not that much money. So it made $4.4 million.
Okay, they broke even.
Yeah, so they broke even with this movie.
$1 million more, but after making commercials and trailers and all that, they probably broke even or even went under, went over. They probably didn't
I want to
even do that.
piggyback off what Josh said. It's, the movie, I do love the movie, but for me, all the bad, and all the little bad bits of it, that's what makes it so good.
That's what I'm in the same boat.
That's
it
fair.
Works.
That's fair. It's definitely entertaining. I'm not saying it's not entertaining. There's a lot of things that just felt off, just watching. I'm like, that didn't feel natural.
I think the biggest charm of it is it's out in the countryside. And, it's like people always say when you go someplace new, don't go to the deep parts of the country. Or, if you ever go to Louisiana, they say stay out of the bayou, because of all the mysticism, the arcane, and basically all of you're going to sign your life away without realizing what you're doing until it's too late. Like how Josh said Ed was slapping himself trying to snap Pumpkinhead out of it, but the lady said he's a demon and you're making a deal with a demon. And what do demons want? The life of the signee. And it, I think it also really helped that it was set kind of, back in the day, which made it that much more of, like The Hills Have Eyes.
I don't think it was set that far.
Not The Hills Have Eyes, but like Wrong Turn.
The thing is, this movie was based in it was still based in the 1980s. It wasn't far fetched. It was only in the beginning that was kind of pushed back to the years.
Yeah, but since they're out in the boonies, it could be set at any point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So even though it's the 1980s, they're still living like it's early 1900s. Like with all the kids, like the dude's client and neighbor, he had the whole family on the farm, like working. He had son, grandkids, whatever. He was probably fucking inbreeding everybody. Because some of them did look like, they had a little extra going on with them.
Oh, okay. We got
But I always love this movie because it's like sometimes you don't need to have this grandiose plot of having the creature show up early and staying there consistently. For me, it's like Josh said, you introduced it, boom, no other context. Then it's like, okay, we know obviously it has something to do with this area, so maybe it's like a Bigfoot. So it maybe just comes and goes every so often. Then we figure out it's a ritual that a woman does, and the price you pay is your own to exact vengeance on people who have wronged you, which makes it that much more of how much hurt does a person have to go through before they're like, you took something from me, so I'm going to take something from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even at the end, he was very remorseful that, he took the lives of essentially 4 people in 15 minutes.
Yeah, he did a lot of damage within 15, 30 minutes of it.
Okay. How does Pumpkinhead even work? So, he killed the whole group. They had nothing to do with it. Why didn't he just kill the asshole fucking leather jacket?
Well, the dad wasn't there, so he doesn't know who killed it. But he knows it was a group of teenagers. So he was like, I'm going to kill all these people who were involved.
Okay.
Yeah, so he knows the group of kids in the general. But he never, he went on his little, he went on the little drive out to drop off that guy's feed for his animals. Mm-hmm. And while that was happening, Billy got killed.
Yeah, I know that he wasn't there. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, that's what I was trying to
so his thought process is murder the group.
Okay.
But
technically, not Sean. Steve is the one that I would not kill at all because
I thought he was.
He was actually the good one. He was the good one of the group. He stayed with the kid. Yeah, they're trying to stay with the kid, get the kid help and everything.
And he's telling him call 911. Your son's been in an accident. If you get him to a hospital fast enough, he probably would have lived, or been in the medical vegetable coma.
Okay, yeah, true. But or like
Yeah, that's
Origin's
what I was
nice to you
wondering.
for a bit.
I was wondering why he didn't take him to the hospital. Yeah, he just took him home. But I was like, maybe there's no hospitals fucking there since they're in the middle of nowhere. I mean,
I assume that's part of
maybe,
it, or he didn't have enough money to pay the bills
probably.
because of what the lifestyle they kind of had
he
was
could have
kind of
sold his
more.
fucking shop.
And
Well,
I also want to fall
that's
back to
to be a
what
quick
Josh
sell.
said about the voodoo woman's house. I think that was probably my favorite setup for the whole movie
Oh, I love them
because
part.
when even before you get there, it's very obvious
Mm.
she's into some shit that would even
Mhm.
make a very religious person afraid to go in. And once you get in there, she's got a pet owl, she's got a pet rat, she's got 2 tarantulas, and she's got the cup, and he's putting, like, obviously it's his deceased wife's jewelry, like, in the cup, saying, "This is everything I have. I want you to bring my boy back." And she's like, "I can't bring back the dead, you fucking moron. What do you want? You want these kids dead, or you want to grieve in peace? Tell me what you want." And it honestly
Oh,
reminded me, like Josh said, like Josh Crispy said, like, it's voodoo because obviously voodoo comes from the Haitians and the French Louisiana culture, and the woman is clearly like 97 years old, but she's probably
I
lived to be
think
a lot
older. She's
longer.
older. She's older actually.
And
I
it
think because
what
she makes an appearance in the second movie. She makes an
uh,
appearance in the second
we're not
movie
talking about that. We're
because
talking about this. Who cares about the second
no,
movie?
no, they give it more. They give her more because the what's it called? The one in the fifth, the one in the second movie is actually a prequel to the first movie,
Does Stan Winston
and it
direct
doesn't
that too?
resolve.
We didn't
Does
even
not.
get into
Does
that.
not. Yeah. So, but it doesn't revolve around this movie setup. It's a whole different setup. And there's another town a few miles out that's like kind of like more developed and proper. And it actually, she has a kid that someone actually they end up killing later on. It was like in the I think it's in the 50s. So like this is in the 50s, and she still looks fucking old
she's probably a
too.
few
Then
thousand years
All
old.
right, she's old as fuck.
and like it's
That's all we need
yeah.
to know.
So like she's
She's fucking
just
old.
over 100.
But I really liked how they used just very simple lighting, because it's obviously they just used
I did
a
like
red
that.
cover over
Yeah.
just a very bright white light. And even
Mhm.
with the fog machine, it's like, I thought the woman was gonna, my first time watching, I've watched this probably like 17 times prior, but my first time
Oh
watching,
my
I'm like,
god.
this woman's about to kill this man. I was expecting her to take that knife and jab it down his throat.
And just tack them.
Yeah. And like, I thought she
Fucked
was
up
gonna
man.
morph him into Pumpkinhead, which obviously he
Uh,
morphs into
They
the vessel
do.
at the end, which is the thing of, you sold your soul to the demon, and now it's going to use your body as a vessel to continuously come back. Which I
I kind of
think,
like that idea.
for me, that's something I always like in a movie, because it's not that it sets up future movies if they decide to do it. It's more of, it's like a never-ending cycle, you know,
Yeah.
just like how we were talking about with Superman smashes the Klan. You can work your hardest forever, but you can never truly stop the cycle of hate and hurt. And that was also part of my review. So when it gets back to me, I'm just gonna rate it.
Okay,
Oh wow.
so no, but I agree with what Jerry says with all this. It's a freaking crazy thing, but I like the way that you would like, think that she would do take this whole like setup. Like you would think you should mold him into the creature or do something to him more to make him morph into the creature in the sorts of when it's the time when he ever sees them or when it hits that right cue and the creature's right at the right time of incubation inside of him to come out and fully take on its attack. You'd think it would take that route instead of him actually having to dig up another body of this sorts to bring that thing to life, to have it be the demon creature Pumpkinhead to like wreak the havoc. But I do like the repercussions of him, even though he killed himself and he dies and the deed isn't finished, he still gets the punishment of being the next vessel of Pumpkinhead. So he shrivels up and gets carried back by the old voodoo witch lady and put it back into the grave. I like that perspective because now she's reloaded again. She has a new setup for another Pumpkinhead in case someone else
She's got one loaded in
decides.
the chamber.
Yeah, so like in case someone else comes back around. And how fucked would that be if she had multiple of those? Everyone has a bad day and they come back.
There's old pumpkin patch.
See, I think at one time that whole graveyard was probably loaded. You know, back when hillbillies would have, family wars and stuff. So it'd be like, okay, I'll help you. And then people just got to the point of,
okay,
you know what? How about we just fucking stop and just leave one in the chamber and never fuck with it again?
Okay,
that's a good point, bro.
That's an interesting theory. I mean, it could possibly. I didn't think that deep into this movie.
And then I liked at the end when Pumpkinhead does get defeated, he does burn up into a giant flame, like heap of flame, and gets disintegrated and like disappears.
He does.
Like it's not like a body left.
Corpse. I forgot.
I like
it doesn't just stay there.
I like that. I wish Ed Harley burned up too because he turned into a demon. That would have been nice because they were fighting each other. They're basically one being at that point. And then so this is another example of sense of lack of direction. Like when they have that overhead shot and it's zooming out from the devastation of what happened with the characters. It seemed like the actors, with Chris on the ground, and then they have the Huck Finn kid, and then the girl looking over the body of Chris. I think he's still alive. They looked like they didn't know what to do. They're just kind of looking at each other, yeah, okay, is cut. It just looked like they had lack of direction. They just stand there. It should have been more hasting, trying to help Chris get up and oh no, give them some action, but they're just standing there doing nothing. And it just seemed like there's a lot of lack of direction. Like the actors didn't know what to really do. And to get back,
they could have added the voodoo witch lady showing up and having it interacting with them and slowly preparing Ed's corpse and the sorts. That'd be a different path and be a lot creepy and darker. And then later on, you'll see it cut to her at the graveyard, plopping him into the grave that she wants.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they could have done that. But I'm just saying, with that one shot, it just seemed like the actors had no sense of direction. They just stood there. And I was just okay, is the camera done yet? Did you stop filming? And then
it was very obvious they were first-time actors.
Yeah, well, there was that, but I'll get back to that. But fucking Ed Harley is an idiot. Okay, so he's trying to burn the creature, and then he ends up getting fucking spiked by a pitchfork by walking.
Yeah,
what is wrong with him?
He trips. He's walking with the tank, and the hose gets hooked onto something, and
I think it's a really long nail.
Yeah,
and he
just kind of bumped.
And he goes right into the pitchfork.
Yeah, he does trip, but that's what I mean with the editing. The editing is so quick. You're just
it's something you have to watch a lot of times to notice.
I don't want to. I really don't. Yeah, exactly. Just little simple actions. You have to watch it multiple times to know that he tripped. It just seemed like he just walked into it like a bumbling fool. And then to have that much impact to walk into it and pierce your skin is pretty
when you pull the whole pitchfork out, it looked like it went halfway into him, the fork at least length. of it, like halfway in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like in my head, I'm like technically like the way he did trip, it would just went in probably like not even an inch, like a half an inch maybe.
Yeah, it didn't look
I
like
say
that
like
much
maybe
of a trip.
I say a little less than half an inch because the hose would have caught him unless he was just like,
yeah.
whoa.
It would just like he would have like had a nick and then like he wouldn't have fallen into it unless like someone gave some force and like pushed him into it to actually pierce into his shoulder. But it just looked like he just walked into it and then like it went through his freaking shoulder blade. And I was like, yeah. I don't want to watch this. No. I mean, it's not like it's okay. To be fair, this is not a movie I won't watch again. Like I'll watch it. It was entertaining. I'll give it the review at the end. But I gotta say, Stan Winston directed this movie. This was his first time directorial debut, and I could totally tell by the way it was edited, the way it was shot at times. I think the best executed scene was the opening scene when you're trying to get the layout of the origins of the Pumpkinhead, basically the mythos. And I thought that was the best executed scene, and just the stuff where it was just simple with the father and son, like when that actually felt like legitimately real, and there was like some character dynamic between those two. And then after that, once the Pumpkinhead comes, it's just like each shot is just sporadic, and it literally shows up on screen for like 5 seconds, maybe even less, and then you're like, okay, why is it edited like this? Why is it shot like this?
They captured the mayhem that's actually supposed to be happening.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I get that, but I don't think it was executed very well. And
my favorite death scene was when Pumpkinhead took the rifle and put it through the dude's belly.
Yeah, that guy was the shit.
I thought that was very.
Cutting out. Fix your audio, Matt.
I can't. I don't know how to.
Fix it.
I think it's fixed.
There's something else I want. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so my favorite character was Chris, just because of one thing. He was played by Jeff East. Chris was the one who survived. I think he survived. He's at the end. He looks like
he's all fucked up
got
again.
Fucked up.
Yeah, he got fucked up real bad though.
So yeah, he's so I'll have to show you. How do I do this again? Okay, so I'll show you
on Chrome?
who he is. He's played by Jeff East, who was also young Clark Kent in Superman the movie, and I was like, oh, he looks familiar. Why?
Hey, that dude was in Pumpkinhead.
He's Clark Kent. I was like, that's why. So I was like, so Matt accidentally tied this in with Superman somehow.
Yes, I did somehow.
Jeff East plays young Clark Kent in Superman the movie. So I was like, that's cool. And then I was like, so he's definitely has some acting chops under his belt at this point. That was filmed in 1977. This is over a decade later, 1988, and then the acting was just off. So I'm like, it was definitely the direction. I don't think it was really the actor's fault. I think it was the direction. I think there was a lot of lack of direction. It was like more of a special effects extravaganza, but for some reason the acting worked when it was the father and son. So I don't know. Once it got more fantastical, that's when it kind of just got worse and worse with the acting.
I think it just maybe got too much to handle. Maybe it just got too much to handle, trying to go like, okay, we got to have the animatronics start moving to this point, have him start doing this point. I need that wall to do whatever it has to do to happen. Whatever the fuck it's going to do.
I think a big part of it is that and the editing. The editing it got really haphazard. It's like, why is it shit like this? And the only other thing I've seen Stan Winston ever direct was a Michael Jackson music video called Ghosts, and it's not good.
You keep mentioning that.
So everything I've seen that Stan Winston directed isn't great. So I don't think he's a good director. He's better at setting up special effects and making fucking dinosaurs for Jurassic Park. I think that's what he was created on this earth to do and not direct movies. Not saying that I don't think he has potential to make a good movie, Well, now he doesn't because he's dead. But rest in peace, Stan Winston. But I think
Just put a damper on it, man.
I think he did have the potential to make a good movie. I think it was like if he had another assistant director to kind of help him out with like the direction of photography and all that kind of stuff, I think he could kind of be managed into being a good director. But I think he's more made for special effects, obviously. So I'm not saying this movie is not entertaining. It is entertaining. It kind of gives me that cheesy kind of Goosebumps feel of a movie, but like more rated R. And I love Goosebumps. I love that cheese. I mean, I would pick Goosebumps over this. Just
Josh, I remember one time I stayed over one Josh's apartment.
We had a Goosebumps marathon.
We had a Goosebump marathon, and each other one made me cringe more and more in different ways.
Bad.
They're so bad.
Say cheese and die. Bad. That's the best one.
Which one?
Is that the one with
Say cheese and die? That's the camera.
Man. Yes. What's his name? Oh man, this is a famous actor. Ryan something. The guy who's in The Good Guys. The Good Guys. What's that movie, Matt? The Good Guys.
The Good Guys.
What's his name?
The other guys? The Good Guys.
No. The one with Russell Crowe and the other guy. Who's the other guy?
Oh God. That movie,
I know his name. I just can't think of it. Oh my!
God. His debut was in Goosebumps. Now I can't forget I forgot his name. He's in that crappy romantic movie, The Notebook. Oh man!
Oh God! Nicholas knows that movie more than me. I've never seen The Notebook.
It sucks. Ryan Gosling. There we go.
Ryan Gosling.
God. Wait, Ryan Gosling started off on Goosebumps?
Yeah, he started out in Goosebumps. I think he's in the Say Cheese one, but I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure he's in that one.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah.
So,
I mean,
what?
Yeah, so, I put on that.
Josh, what would you rate it?
Yeah, rating. I want to know.
I give this a 6. It's above average. You know, I'd watch it again. It was entertaining, but I feel like it had more potential than it kind of showcased, for sure. And it ended up with a lot of questions. Like, why didn't they leave? Why didn't they drive away? I know they showed one of their dirt bikes broken, but they had two vehicles and a dirt bike. It wasn't like an Evil Dead when the only road out is this bridge that got demolished and then he's stuck there. It wasn't like that. It was like, you have 3 vehicles. Leave. Drive away. They didn't show those vehicles later on. So why didn't they leave?
That was much higher than I was expecting.
Yeah, same here. I was expecting him to give it like a 2 or a 3.
I was expecting
No, I gave it a 6. It's entertaining. I mean, I was probably a little harsh on it, but like I think I was more harsh on it just because it seemed like it had a lot of potential with the special effects and the atmosphere I liked a lot. I just think some of the story elements and the lack of direction in the acting just threw me off. I was like, okay, I'm okay. Maybe if it started off that bad, I think I would have maybe been. I don't know. It just seemed like it devolved as it continued, and if it started out as that at that level, I would have been more forgiving.
I'm not gonna lie.
More potential.
The later Pumpkinhead movies do make a progression, but they're not good. They make a little bit of a progression of acting skills a little bit, but they're not that good. They're
like Sharknado.
Movies. Yeah. They get a little bit better, just not. Yeah. I think it's like the 4th one's probably like the most one of the movie moments I remember the most is when the meth lab blows up and just Pumpkinhead's just cruising out of the flames, and he's just like, "Yeah, I fucking blew this bitch up." And that the 4th one coexists with the first movie because they bring back Ed. He comes back to life in a way, and they do like some kind of ritual. He gets brought back to life. but he is Pumpkinhead instead. He actually is Pumpkinhead. He is not just a like guy that controlling him. He actually turns into him. It's fucking weird. It's like the way you were describing it before, Jerry. How you would like to see him like be the like actual creature itself. That's what I did with the fourth one. But so Jerry, what would you rate it?
I give it a 7 just because, I've watched this for a long time. I love all the good, the bad, the cheesy, the god awful bits with the dog. I really was like, somebody shoot this damn dog.
Gypsy, you didn't like Gypsy?
I thought the dog.
Well, first off, the dog's name was Gypsy, so obviously the dog was going to be the root of the problem.
Dog was a witch in disguise.
It's one of those movies where, this might be like something you watch with like your grandparents, or somebody who likes horror movies but doesn't like all of the blood and guts, and just likes a nice warm build up and it just goes downhill. Because it's like Josh was saying, the father and son build up, it was cute. You were like, there's no way this is a horror movie, because he talks very lovingly of his son. You can see he's never raised a hand against him since the day he was born, and he cares. Like, he would give the shirt off his back to his son if he needed $5. And it's really nice, especially when it came out, because it's like, I don't know of any other horror movie that had such a heartwarming introduction between, a single parent at that and their child. And even when, he made his deal with Pumpkinhead and he's trying to right his wrongs, he's getting, glimpses of his son telling him, Daddy, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Oh God.
The guilt and remorse start kicking in, because he knows this is not what my son would want. My son wouldn't want me to take somebody else's life. My son would want me to forgive him. My son would want me to, hold my grudge maybe, and maybe move past it and start a life somewhere else.
Like with the kid thing, it was like definitely like with him coming back to life is like kind of like a Pet Cemetery.
Definitely.
Remember how in Pet Cemetery how they had that one boy that died in the hospital, but he keeps coming back to like to warn the father and like, yo, you're fucking this all up, and have the same vibe to that. I think Pet Cemetery came out, in mid 80s. I believe it was mid 80s.
I haven't watched the original Pet Cemetery in a long time, but I want to say that's right.
I think it was I want to say 86, but I don't want to say 86 so much. But that you rating? You can so 7's a rating.
A solid 7. Take it away, leader for the night.
Yeah. I was gonna go with the same thing. I was going with the same way with Jerry. I'm gonna go with 7 because I actually way he described it. I like the movie either way. I just enjoy it. It's a good watch. It doesn't it's a little different here and there, but it's a collab with other things in the midst. But it works out and it comes out to a decent outcome. But yeah, there is some flaws, and I don't care about the fucking flaws with it. I just like watching it, enjoying it, and it's a good time. At least witness the first movie. If you haven't seen, you don't need to see the other ones. If you want to keep exploring Pumpkinhead, go ahead. But they didn't go any further than I was saying, they just went to VHS and DVD releases. There's no other putting it into theaters, no real build-ups. It was more just basically word of mouth, oh, Pumpkinhead just came up with another movie. Instead of everyone else mainstream franchises of a horror, like Freddy, Jason, Mike Myers, everyone got their basically the theater movies, majority of it. So it kind of like I said, if it was a better outcome of if it was more of a big push and had a decent outcome of it, it would have had more movies that came out in theaters and been a bigger name. It would have been dope. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this with a decent 7.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. We all stayed within the same rating for honestly the last couple of episodes.
Well, yeah, it's actually pretty odd. But at least we had Josh that was really fucked up by Fairy Tale.
I mean, I didn't know what was going on, so I can't even give it a rating. So I know Mishu was fighting Pishu.
Oh my god. And I was actually wrong. Pet Cemetery came out in 1989.
Oh, wow.
But let's see, the book actually.
Book was probably early then.
The
Yeah.
book by Stephen King came out in 1983. So
There we go.
If Stan Wilson read the book, he would got some ideas from the book. For like,
I think it looked like it was a poem prior to the movie. It was like a poem, and then they made it into a movie. Yeah, this movie. Yeah, if you want to watch it for a fun Halloween thing, go feel free. But I feel like there's endless amounts of better movies to watch than this that I would probably enjoy more. But it's a fun time if you want to watch it. It's entertaining.
So before we end this, Josh, would you like to tell us what's happening next week?
Okay, so next week we're having a special guest, SK Illustrations, who we had prior on the show for the past 2 October seasons. So this is going to be the first time where he's going to come on and suggest a movie for us to watch. And his choice of next week's episode is Night of the Demons, 1988, not the remake. And we are also doing When Halloween Was Forever, the Real Ghostbusters episode, season 1, episode 8, which is a classic episode, very good episode. So that'll be next week. So look forward to that. If you don't want to be spoiled by Night of the Demons and the Real Ghostbusters episode, If Halloween Was Forever, feel free to watch those before we do our episode. before we do a review. Okay. Yeah. So Matt, take it away.
Take it away. Okay, so that's it for the show, guys. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Batyard's Finest. I am Matt from the deepest stupid hell of Gotham. Run. This is which one I'm gonna go with.
Okay, I'm Josh from Batyard Productions, sending you off up and away until next Batyard's Finest episode.
And I'm Jerry, being super pals, one episode at a time.
See you guys later.
Yeah, that was actually pretty smooth.
That was really good.
How come I'm hearing like screaming in the background?
That's Jerry's people.
Oh, that's me.
That's
I got
neighbors.
a party downstairs.
Oh, what?
You
You're
got
missing
a party
for this? Oh my god.
I think my cousin and some of my friends are over, so I'm gonna see what the hell they're doing.
Oh yeah,
got
it sounds like a fun time. I was like, someone's getting murdered at someone's house, but I don't.
I thought it was.
Yeah, someone is gonna get murdered.
Oh God! So you're not playing. You're not gonna be playing Predator tonight, huh?
Probably not. I don't know what the hell these people are doing downstairs.
Yeah, I might be out. I don't know what I'm doing. So, all right. Well, goodbye, everyone.
76.
We're not live.
Good night.